game we're covering is the Sydney Swans, the league ladders on top versus North Melbourne Kangaroos. It should be a good game today. Although Sydney are on top, North Melbourne have been finding a little bit of form over the past few weeks. So it should be an absolute cracker of a game. Sydney have lost their last two games. North Melbourne coming off a win. So it should be a good game here at the SCG. Not as big a ground as some of the other grounds, but that being said, it's going to be a great game. All right, we're going to have a little bit of a look at the lineups here. So here we go. Let's just have a little bit of a look. And we see for the Sydney Swans, we've got Callum Mills in and Isaac Heaney going out from suspension. For the Kangaroos, we've got George Wardle coming in with Will Phillips omitted. Milestone games. Xeri, 50th game there for the Kangaroos. They're just a young side. So all looking good for him. Hopefully he has a great game. But let's just have a little bit of a peek. See who's in for the Swans. For the fullbacks, we've got Rampy, McCartan, and Melican. For the halfbacks, we've got Florent, Blakey, Roberts. The centre is Lloyd, Warner, Goulden. Half forwards are Jordan, McDonald, and Fox there for the Swans. For the forwards, we've got Papley, Armity, and Hayward. The followers are Brodie Grundy, Callum Mills, James, Rowbottom. The interchange are Campbell, Wicks, McKinney, Adams, Leaney in the emergencies, of course, Mitchell, McAndrew, and Parker. Of course, for North Melbourne, we have for the backs, Corr, Comden, Pink, Archer, Schnizzle, McDonald. For the centres there for the North Melbourne Kangaroos, we've got Stevens, Luke Davies, McKercher. For the half forwards, we've got Tucker, Tickle, Ford. For the forwards, we've got Curtis, Larkey, and Zura. And, of course, the followers are Tristan Zeri playing his 50th, Powell and Simkin. The interchange are Taylor, Wardle, Scott, Shields, Dawson. And the emergency, Stephen, Phillip, and Robert Hanson Jr. So it should be a pretty good game here today at the SCG. The game starting in around about 5 minutes' time. So we're going to look forward to that game coming up. Let's see if I can just get that down a little bit, position that a little bit better for everybody. That's not too bad. There we go. I'll just try and get that a little bit straighter. That looks a little bit better. That looks a little bit better. As we have a look at the ladder, of course, there is Sydney Swans. They're leading the fixture. They're on top of the ladder with 52 points, with a good healthy percentage of 140.8. They've had 13 wins, 3 losses this year. They've won 3 of their past 5 and 2 losses in a row in their last 2. And, of course, we go right down to the bottom of the ladder. North Melbourne sitting in 17th position with just the 2 wins on the board with a low percentage of 66.1 coming off a win. So they did fantastic. But we're not too far away from getting into this game here at the SCG. We're about 4 minutes away and not too far away. We'll take you to the commentators for the call of the game here, the big game. Sydney Swans versus North Melbourne. I just want to say a mega love shout out to everybody who's come into the chat. Welcome aboard, welcome aboard. Hopefully everyone's out there having a fantastic Saturday afternoon so far. Hope you all enjoy the call from the commentators here on the Australian rules football here, the AFL. It's going to be a great game. Sniper, how you going, bro? Welcome in. What's going on this Saturday? Hope you're having a great one. Hope you're having a good day today. Hopefully you get your games underway and enjoy your day as well. Let me just raise this a little bit if I can. There we go. I'm just trying to get all this correct for everybody out there, a little bit straight so it's a little bit easier to see. There we go. I think that's a little bit better for everyone out there. Good stuff. I tell you what, we are under 3 minutes away what is going to be a great game here at the SCG. So the odds for today, if we just tick over here and have a look at the odds for this game, as you can see, Sydney Swans go into this game hot favourites at 107, and the Kangaroos there at $8, 7-1 there for the Kangaroos. No one expects the Kangaroos to get up and win this or even trouble Sydney. But as I said, in the last couple of weeks, Sydney have faltered. They've lost the last two. That being said, they're still the informed team of the competition, and they are going to be the team to beat today in what is going to be, I think, a pretty good game, a pretty close game. As I said, North Melbourne, they've just got a young team here at the moment. They're still learning their craft, and they're doing it well. They've been playing very well as a team the past couple of weeks, and I expect a close game this time around from the Sydney Swans and North Melbourne. All right, so we're about a minute and a half away. Players are still just stretching on the ground, taking their final bits, and then the captains will come in, toss the coin, and they will decide what end they kick to. And the players will take their positions on the ground, and we'll get this game underway in just over a minute. Captains coming into the centre. The coin toss is being tossed. Lady tosses the coin up. And it looks like Sydney has won the toss. They're kicking to the right. Oh, screen on the TV if anyone's watching this game. We're not too far away. All right, folks, let me just try and reload that, see if that can bring the worm up. Good stuff. So there is the worm there, which is all good. This will tell you how far your team is in front or behind. Let me just try and straighten that up a little bit more. All right, let's get to the commentators. Let's enjoy the call of the game here at the MCG. Sydney Swans versus North Melbourne. We're about to get underway. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Void RL, who do you go for? I think Sydney Swans will win this game today. Although Sydney are going in hot favourites, I think, and hopefully this will be a close, tight game. North Melbourne have found a little bit of form over the past few weeks. Sydney need to find their form again, but should be a good game. Hey Ryan, how you going, Squire? How you going, mate? What's happening? Happy Saturday to you. That being said, should be a great game. Well, let's get this game underway, folks. Players are there. The game's getting ready to play. I'll hand you over to the commentators. Let's get the game underway.
It's been sensational. First V17, and if recent history is anything to go by, this should be a close battle. Two of the best rucks in the competition this year will go at it. Sherry and Grundy. Saturday afternoon footy from the SCG, and it's that man Warner. Back. Eyes lit up, tucked it under the arm. The ball didn't bounce back, and the Kangaroos will go forward for the first time. It's the other superstar for North Melbourne now. Davies Uniac will drive it deep to the square. Teagle tried to let it go, and in the end off hands and through for a fast score for North Melbourne.
So that first set of square bounce was Chad Warner matched up against LDU, two guys that love to run and carry a burst out of stoppage. That's going to be a highlight today.
Yeah, and neither wanted to chase the other.
Yes. Which is perfectly fine by us.
The midfields of both sides are stacked, and there is Callum Mills, his first touch for season 2024. Round of applause from the Swans fans. Enjoy seeing him out there. Amadi, who's been quiet since he kicked that 9 goals against Satellite Crows a few weeks ago.
He's dragged Core up the ground somewhat.
And you can see already North Melbourne being able to restrict teams' uncontested marks. They force Sydney to kick long to a contest, and that's exactly what they want. They win the footy back. Simpkin off a standing start. We'll go back to where it came from, Zerha.
Gee, that's a beautiful kick. Touch kick, just off one step.
Finds Teagle, who's been a great inclusion since the mid-season pickup, and this is where they look to be patient.
That's a good setup by Sydney, though. Every avenue in there is covered. Oh, he's still pretty fresh. He should get it done now.
Sydney have the numbers queuing up out the back. It was Blakey, but the spoil will lurk for Curtis. Number behind.
They were really well positioned, as you mentioned, Derp, and then had no coverage over the back for that just in case. Really fortunate that Curtis wasn't able to get the first one on the board for the Kangas.
Derm, you mentioned there was a big cheer for Callum Mills when he went near the ball for the start. I'll come back to that.
Yeah, Lloyd has potentially made a meal of this kick in, and it's going to force a contest to be won. Florent goes back to Lloyd. They turn it over, so good pressure here by North Melbourne, but there is Roberts. He gets a great opportunity today after he was subbed out against St Kilda. Just 8 disposals, looking to find that form that he had at the start of the year. And now the Swans will be patient. Galici.
That cheer for Mills was nothing compared to the cheer for Isaac Heaney as he walked around the ground just a couple of minutes before the start of play. Everyone was standing. There was a standing ovation as he walked around to the rooms.
He's won the Brownlow already, Al.
Absolutely.
He's a good man. Isaac Heaney. That's what he is. He's a smiler. He's a genuinely nice bloke.
And there he gets another round of applause. I've seen him on the big screen. They're loving the work of Isaac Heaney this year as Grundy. There's a strong tackle on Harry Sheasel.
It's a good battle, these two, in the ruck.
Sherry, as we said, been in terrific form. Grundy just been a little bit down in recent weeks. We're looking to bounce back to that All-Australian form of the first half of the season as Rampy sees the target through the corridor. It was Logan McDonald, went over his head. Packley able to get to his feet. Now they're out and running. Haywood has McDonald, and they have the overlap inside 50 now to Amani. Great work from Aiden Core. An important fist in. And then the cavalry arrive, and they win the ball back. Good defence from North Melbourne.
It's been one of their big areas of growth in the last month or so, is their ability to minimise the opposition's scoring when they go inside 50.
They've been the best in the competition over the last 4 weeks.
It's been a great turnaround.
And they're quickly turning defence into attack again. The underground kick was a bit difficult for Teagle to get a long way down, but forward. Happy to find an uncontested mark, and this is where North Melbourne will look to be patient.
Papley's limping from the ground now. He's actually stayed in the centre square, but he's going to limp from the ground and take the mark here.
We've seen teams in the last month have tried to take on Sydney by owning the ball a little bit more, taking time off the clock, not allowing Sydney time in possession. It's on display here again already. Turnover.
And yes, spot on Lynchy. Papley looks like he's in a bit of strife.
Kick from Lloyd finds Florent, and now they want to get the overlap. And they get it in the right hands. Gordon. Beautiful kick to the advantage of McDonald.
He actually dictated to McDonald where he was going to mark that.
McInerney, who's one of the best kicks in the competition statistically this year. It looks like Papley's recovered okay. He wheels from 52. And he knows he loves the celebration.
He's just ran up and I reckon his shoulder blocked the North Melbourne bloke in the back. I wonder if they'll come back at him here. There's nothing like fixing an injury lines at the side of the goals. Looming up.
It is the best remedy. You can see him bottom right of screen, just moved out of frame. Just a little second lead there on Luke McDonald to get him out of position. And then the eyes light up when he's within range. Keep a close eye on what he did after this goal, Derp. You mentioned that elbow. Have a look at this from the other angle. It's a great finish.
That was extraordinary. He's 50 metres from the interchange bench limping, sniffed out an opportunity, turned around and took off.
There's the rest.
And he has his run up and shoulder blocked an opponent in the back after he's kicked the goal.
The adrenaline's flowing, and the Swans are on the board early. Very Tom Papley. Goal number 27 for the year, but the Kangaroos will win this centre clearance and go inside 50 again. Lark is in this contest. Zerha lurking at ground level. As Pick continues to hold his spot in that forward line.
Seen him at both ends of the ground, Joey, and he's also been the sub, which was highly unusual earlier this year. So he's a man probably for where he's at, where the club's at, needs to be able to play both ends of the ground.
Which provides a big contest down there as Toby Pick. Sheasel. Able to just get boot the ball, but doesn't clear the congestion. See about Harry Sheasel since he moved into that permanent mid-forward role. Top 10 player in the competition, averaging 27 disposals, almost 5 clearances. Grundy, as he likes to do, takes it out of the ruck. Lloyd's had a bit of ball early. And he'll just kick the grass, but the Kangaroos are set up well defensively. They have a spare man in court. There's a bit of time to pick his options. And the best option to pick is Campbell. He's there to chop it off.
Got to have one of your forwards boundary side, though, for that type of kick. And at least willing to be able to get there.
There's been a nudge off the footy. It was going to go out the way of Hayward, but the Swans take the advantage. And that was Logan McDonald. As we touched on, been in the thick of things the last couple of weeks, having kicks at goal 8. Took away from him. He was pretty good last week.
He was.
He was probably their best forward. 2 goals, 3 against St Kilda. Larky trying to get up the ground again. Involved. Could take the mark. Pressure from Simpkin. Florent has to work in some tight spaces. They get themselves out of trouble now. McInerney again will just kick in hope and core in the right spots.
Great pressure through the midfield from the Kangaroos. We've spoken about that area of their game that's drastically improved. Just allowing play like Core to position himself, knowing that it's not going to be a precise kick inside forward 50 for the Swans.
Bailey Scott, another really consistent season. This one towards the wing. Grundy tried to keep it in. He saw that he had some teammates in support. Did well, but again, North Melbourne's pressure forces the turnover. Nurkic, couple of touches. Sheasel made it difficult for Dawson. And now the Swans turn. Rowbottom. Clever underground handball. Hayward able to work himself out of trouble now. Adams back to Hayward. Can they find an uncontested mark? Because they were queuing up. In the end, it was good vision. It's McInerney, who instead has been unselfish all season long, goes into the pocket to Joel Amati.
Just cleaner. North Melbourne had their opportunity to take the ball down the field. Just will run over to execute under. Mediocre pressure, must be said. Not rampant pressure. Turned it over, and the Swans are just clean.
Got involved early. Joel Amati, as we said, just kicked the 3 behinds against St Kilda last week. In fact, he's just kicked the 1 goal in 3 games after kicking a career haul of 9 against Adelaide. So he'll be looking to bounce back, and he gets a good opportunity here, but keeps that one skinny. 32 goals, 19 for the year now for Joel Amati. That's 1 goal, 6 in his last 3 weeks after being so accurate earlier in the season. Nurkic coming off 37 disposals in his return game last week. What a game he had.
It was breathtaking. Nurkic with his composure, his ball use.
Even that kick there, though, was a fantastic kick.
This is a young guy making his way that isn't shy. He's just announced himself in the last couple of weeks, now and again.
A good look at Sydney's team defence there, really well set up, so forced North Melbourne to go long down the line. Warner. Once playing against North Melbourne, he's called 5. Brownlow votes in there. Good step. Couple of games from Tucker it was, Dirk. And he's kicked out down the line against Sydney. Set up well. Both teams, in fact, set well behind the football to start this game as Wardlaw dives on it, knows he has to get to his feet, couldn't get the handball away, and Sydney forced the turnover. Rowbottom missed Hayward. Now North Melbourne will look to build again, although the kick from Archer made Scott work, but he did it nicely. And now they've got the outnumber. Curtis can get it over to Pink, can run in, doesn't kick too many goals. Toby Pink will get to 40 and flushes it. Just his 4th goal of the season. And North Melbourne turned defence into attack pretty quickly.
Well, I was just about to say, it looks like defence is winning for both sides. And just this one little moment here from Lloyd creates overlap. So it comes forward to impact, which is the right decision, but then allows the ball over the back, and it just becomes Chinese checkers forcing the Swans to come up to try and pressure. That's a nice passage of play off half-back, Derm.
Absolutely. They're just making a couple of errors, both teams. So they turned it over on their half-forward line, the Sydney Swans' hands, and they're unable to get another handle on it. We'll take it 3/4 the length of the ground.
Of course, starts are a big focus for the Sydney Swans. There's some comments from Blakey Dale. It's been an issue. They've only won 7 first quarters for the year. Teams have been able to either match them or get the jump on them. They've had to play some catch-up. So they want to start much better, Sydney. And that'll work. McInerney again just lays it into the path of Logan McDonald.
Beautiful hands there as well.
He doesn't want to blaze away. He wants to go into the pocket. Bounced in front of Archer. It looks like he's got the matchup on Hayward. Fox playing more forward in recent weeks. McDonald again. I'll have another look at goal. He hooks that one too far. It'll be thrown in.
He's had 7 disposals, Logan McDonald, to start this game, which is massive numbers for a key forward. I would have loved for him to go back and have that as a set shot. We've spoken so much about it the last couple of weeks. Just to get that belief in the body once again.
Seen though, playing with some confidence early in this game. Seen getting his hands on it. Larky's got his hands to a couple, hasn't been able to drag one in as yet. Roberts, Lloyd, and now Braden Campbell on that left boot will kick it into the pocket. North Melbourne have the numbers. Oh, Sherry left it for Combat. Couldn't quite bring it down, but North Melbourne again have numbers back in defence through Wardlaw. Pink working hard. Now Stevens playing against his former side. Good kick. Strong hands from David Juniak.
Yeah, Comben and in that exchange there with Sherry, they've got to work that out better. That's an easy intercept for two players of that size who are working in tandem and understanding each other.
And Wardlaw had to go slow because Sydney have the extra defender. And now he's forced to kick it there, and it's Grundy right down his throat. A couple of times,
Not his best.
and he's Grundy.
Quite possibly his worst. And that's disappointing from a North Melbourne perspective. We heard from John Longmire said the Kangas are going slower. So everybody knows where that ball's going to go. Whether there's an extra Joey and Grundy, you need to bring that ball to ground for the Kangas forwards to get to work at ground level.
Yeah, that has been their strength, North Melbourne. The tools have been able to compete, Teagle and Pink and Larky, to get it to ground level. Already Swans have taken a couple of marks, and here they go, the forward pressure of North. Sheasel tracks the footy. Wardlaw was coming the other way. They had a little fumble. McInerney getting a fair bit of football. Fox able to break out of the Scott tackle, and now they've got some run through Jordan. They didn't tag last week against St Kilda. Dangerous as a genuine half forward.
And McDonald's down the line there, just occupying the top of the 50 zone, and that's why it took it so slow.
Sydney again looking to build it up patiently.
Now Cherry's gone behind the footy for the Kangas. Long down the line, trying to fill in the leading lanes of Logan McDonald.
In the end, he's going to kick it straight to where Sherry is. McDonald has to make a contest, and it's been poor a couple of times from both forward lines.
There's lack of awareness from both forward lines to identify that there's a spare, let alone a ruckman that are hard to miss.
The thing with that, though, Dale, is there's no instinct for the forward. It's almost like he's got to say, all right, I'm going to stand here, I'm going to cop some punishment, kick it on the head. You're just almost pointing your index finger up above your head saying, kick it on the head, I'll make the contest. If you don't do that, you try and play on instinct, and there's no instinct when they move the ball that slow.
Oh, Powell tried to create something out wide. It's going to be turned over. Might be costly. Papley sees players streaming towards goal. He tried to get it to McLean, and the ball just bounced away from him.
I'm just wondering what it would have been if McLean had been kicking to Papley and missed him.
There's Hayden McLean. Took it pretty nicely. Just pretty calm. An opportunity here for Sydney to lock it in their forward 50. It's been a little structural game at the moment. Grundy again takes it out of the ruck and
Can't take it through, no immediate pressure. McLean sits off him.
yeah, Core understood that. Well, the Swans kept that ball locked in their forward half for the time being.
Yeah, would have had a decision. Had he taken a step backwards over the line, the umpire has a decision to make because McLean did not rush him.
Would have allowed us to talk about it for the next week or so, Derm, if he had have.
Had a week of talk back.
It's almost too risky of too costly of a risk to take if you do get picked for it. It's just a certain goal in a game that at the moment goals are hard to come by. Both teams, as we said, defensively structured up, set up really well. Stevens called out of that one by Harry Sheasel.
Just battling to get past the middle of the field here. They needed 2 or 3 chain possessions.
See Sydney Swans look at their team defence, really compact. North Melbourne happy to kick to a contest. Ask their tools to compete. They can't, got the big fist in.
I just wondered which coaching staff would be happiest with 7 and 7 minutes 53 to play. You've spoken about the Swans' poor start, so they're in the game. Yeah, you look at North Melbourne away from home with this young group travelling. They'd be pretty pleased as well.
Well, after about 6 minutes, I thought Sydney might bang on 5 or 6 here, so I'd be kind of more pleased if you're in North Melbourne at the moment. They've held up what we thought was going to be a little bit of a forward momentum.
And they win this critical contest. Wardlaw has tried to burst his way through a couple of Swans. He wasn't able to do so. And now Adams, the kick went over the head of James Jordan. So a chance off turnover. Tucker, nice bit of composure. Looking for an option inside 50. It's a good one too. That's Larky with strong hands.
There you go. That's the flip of what we were saying at the other end. This is an instinct play by a forward. He sees Tucker. He knows Tucker's a left footer. So he leads out into the vision that Tucker's looking at, that field of play. And that's instinct.
Larky bounced back to a bit of form with the 3 goals against the Gold Coast Suns last week after characteristically going goalless a couple of games prior. And this is normally pretty regulation for a man of his talents in front of the big sticks. North Melbourne take the lead. "32 goals, 11 now for the season for Nick Larky." And as you said, Derb, his forward craft's as good as any in the competition.
Absolutely. So, right, see, starting on the opposite side of McCartney, he's leading into the field of vision of the left footer right there. Most players, when that ball goes that way, if the bloke up the field's a right footer, he leads to the pocket. But being a left footer, he just gets that first wrong step against McCartney. Wrong steps McCartney, that is.
Such a good player, Nick Larky.
Incredible. You think about the lack of supply and probably even the way that the ball comes inside the north forward line over the last year or two. To be able to put up these numbers consistently, it's a fantastic effort.
And at the moment, it's off the back of their defence again for North Melbourne. One of the best defences in the competition over the last 6 weeks. Incredible to say.
Well, fell over at the right time there.
Worked in his favour, and then Sheasel slipped as well. That centre square that can always be so tricky at the SCG. And it's going to open the door for Logan McDonald, who just got put the ball in time. Millimetres in it, but it'll count.
And this is the price you pay when you fumble.
Yeah.
Now, the defence of the North Melbourne team, they're already off. They're trying to find a handball receiver to get that short kick to control the game. They're all full of their opponents. Logan McDonald out the back, which is perfectly fine, waiting for that one mistake. And you pay the ultimate price. Clear bobble to him right there in the end.
Yeah, chatting to Lynchy, Alistair Lynch, before the game, he said that centre wicket area has hardened up. Looks like he got a bit of a skate there, Sheasel. Lynchy?
Yeah, they tend to have a fair grass covering on the square here, but it was trimmed up again pre-game, so yeah, it's a bit hard.
Logan McDonald, 8 disposals and 1 goal, 1 in this first quarter. The best player on the ground so far. Sheasel and Wardlaw. They work together to McKercher. The 3 youngsters try and combine. McKercher has to try and win a one-on-one. Fox just had a bit more experience. And then well done from Eddie Ford. And wins the free kick, holding the ball. Warner tried to take on the second tackle. He thought he was out of bounds.
So, George Wardlaw, he was never coming back onto his left foot, George. He was always looking urgent as possible to get onto his right.
Again, everyone's setting up for this kick the contest. And Pink stands tall amongst 5. It's an important mark.
It's a fantastic mark. There'll be a couple of moments already in this first quarter John Lamar won't be thrilled about. Chad Warner just had the one disposal. We know how damaging and devastating he can be with some of his ball use. They've held him well so far, the North Melbourne midfield.
He played his first 3 games of the season in defence, Toby Pick, and then since then's been a permanent forward. And there are 3 goals coming into today from 11 games. He's already got 1.
Good strike.
Got his goal-kicking boots on. It's close.
Well, it's a goal
over the line. The goal umpire's confident, and it's Toby Pink with 2 in the first quarter.
Well, the ball got spiked back in, so it had to be a goal, or she's play on, and they all stopped. They told the signs themselves, the players.
Eddie Ford turned into the goal umpire there for a moment as he thought it was well and truly a goal. So this is a great grab, a fantastic contested mark. But once again, the whole world knows exactly where this ball is going to go. And the Swans aren't able to impact it, bring it to ground. So give us the look. Well and truly over. Great call by the goal umpire and Eddie Ford.
He's not bad on the lip, young Eddie Ford.
He's always got an opinion, I like.
Yeah, good. It's a good tackle he laid to turn that ball around as well.
And of course, Toby Pick, former Sydney Swan on their rookie list. And he knows the surroundings. And that's a bonus for Alistair Clarkson with Pick. 2 first-quarter goals. He's in the thick of it again. There he is, but Fox came through and the free kick will be paid to Gordon, but advantage. Swans been quick on that whistle. They did last night as well. The advantage, and it might be costly. Swans will turn it over. Wardlaw's got a bit of time and space. Larky wants it. He kicks on the outside of the boot. It's an absolute floater. Made it difficult. Sydney will win out through Braden Campbell.
Gee, that's the second kick to McLean in as many seconds, in 20 seconds, that they've almost missed. The first one they missed and they almost kicked it over his head. They're just ever so slightly off here, the Swannies. Ever so slightly.
They can be patient, build the football up, and if they get the corridor going, that's where they're most dangerous. Patley, now they get the overlap run. Warner, normally a good user going inside 50. It was meant for McDonald, but Taylor Adams with great courage. Backing back, and he's taken a mark inside 50. And look to kick a quick response for the Swans.
Well, that's what happens when Chad Warner gets the football through the middle of the SCG. The options are plenty. Extremely brave coming back with the flight and it not actually cuts off the leading forward, which was Logan McDonald. Did really well to hold on to the footy.
As a forward, when you see different types of players get the ball, you light up and you say, you look at their range and you look at Chad Warner, and if you're a forward, you light up when he's 90 metres away. Savage pull on that way. So when he's 90 metres away, you know he's going to run 15. He may even take a bounce. You're already on high alert from 90 metres because you know he's going to bring it so far forward in carry, and then he'll try and hit you up on the kick.
McKercher, trust him with the kick win duties. Stevens, another nice left footer. And that was well read from McCartan, who came off his man to get the fist in.
And that highlights, Joey, the team defence. You touched on it earlier how well they're set up. They're actually enticing that kick into little pockets and little gaps of space, knowing that they can close it down and keep it in their front half.
All the numbers pretty even in this first quarter. The real arm wrestle. 2 strong defences standing up. Stevenson, Simpkin, a couple of quick little handballs, and McDonald was good enough to get his hands free.
They were clean though, weren't they? That was very good by North Melbourne, that kick.
And the fumble again might open the door for the Swans. McKercher has to get back onto it. Did well. Had Wardlaw as his bailout, and this is a better kick from Wardlaw.
Yeah, they had so many players run deep to help on that error. He's got to wait for a couple of targets to get forward of him.
It's Davey Juniak in some sort of form the last 6 or 8 weeks. Forward. Again, nice clean handball. There is Wardlaw on the left. And it's not as the ball goes out of bounds.
Start on the bench. Georgie's already up to 7 disposals as he comes, or 8 disposals as he comes for a rest. A couple of minutes to play in this first quarter.
He's certainly done very well, but that was a prime example of the evolution of North Melbourne since the bye. Prepared to go long down the line, get contested possessions at the bottom of the pack. Working really well.
Yeah, they've realised they've got so many good contest players in this team. Might as well take advantage of it. There's another one, Simpkin. Gordon sweeps that handball to Roberts, forcing onto his right, but that was a good option. He saw players out wide, and now Warner's away and running again. Takes a bounce, kicks to the advantage of McDonald, who does the bodywork early. Strong hands. His confidence is sky high at the moment, Logan McDonald.
Seeing it well. He's positioned himself very, very well. Coming up for disposal number 9. We reference that because key forwards rarely have quarters with those sort of numbers. But he sees the drop of the ball early, protects the space, and then with those outreached arms, it's a great grab.
Said he played really well against St Kilda last week. Probably his best game since round 7. Goals had dried up for him, and he's getting some good looks at them. For his second in the opening quarter, Logan McDonald is up and about.
Still learning his game too, Lynchy. I mean, that big body check just before the ball comes in is what gets him the mark. Just moves Dawson sideways. 1 second before the ball gets there, and he doesn't quite get back to it. Well played.
Logan McDonald, his 26th goal of the season. Arguably, that's the 5th Sydney Swans who've kicked 26 goals or more this year. Warner, McDonald, Hayward, Papley, Amati, and Isaac Heaney's kicked 23. So they've got 6 goal kickers in the top 35 in the
It's
cocktail.
a great spread. It's a consistent spread as well, because if anyone's having a day off or a quiet day, someone else can pick up the slack.
And Warner's starting to get busy. Gives it to his running mate in Gordon. He'll drive it towards Amati. Core again's right there. Papley.
That disposals list that just came up there in the box on the screen, Simpkins up to 10. He's always a fine player. I just feel his volume of possessions has come down in the last month or so. He's had a few injuries and been out, the HIA, etc. That's good that he's on track for a high 30s game. Get him right into it. And I think North are a far better player, a better team when the ball is in the hands of that player.
Sherry wins the free kick. They want to try and defend here. North Melbourne not concede one late in the quarter. We're going to have to defend their back 50 because it will be the Swans through Gordon. See there, 20 seconds left in the turn. Lloyd tells him and signals to get it in. He does. He tries to pinpoint a pass to Amati.
Oh, Aiden.
He crashes into the fence.
Aiden's rump went into the fence as well. I think Joel's claiming it was a one-touch grab. It's either out in the full or a mark.
And instead they decide to throw it in. It's not fair, Joe.
Let's have a look. So
Yeah, spot on.
Unless they're saying he didn't hold on to it for long enough.
That was long
Jinx.
enough. That was long enough. That's an easy decision made by the umpire.
And that is a costly free kick against North Melbourne and Harry Sheasel right on the stroke of quarter time. A hold at that stoppage.
Cannot run around. So he has to put a scratch on the ground and kick it from where he is now. If he runs further out than that, it's play on. He's got to go back.
So he can snap it. He just has to stay behind the man on the mark. And it probably just affected him through for one behind. So a real arm wrestle in the first quarter at the SCG. Two strong defences going at it. And Sydney with a 2-point lead, but North Melbourne are up for the fight. Good afternoon, SCG. Don't go anywhere. Second quarter coming right after this.
All right, folks, there we go. There is the end of the first quarter here at the SCG. The Sydney Swans leading North Melbourne 3-4 to the Kangas 3-2-20. Hey, watch, there's a bit of an arm wrestle here at the moment. It's a great game. Both teams trying to work out each other. It's who is cleaner going inside their forward 50. I think it's about a 50-50 game here at the moment, even though it's just a 2-point ball game. North Melbourne looking good, even though they're second bottom on the ladder. They're definitely not playing like it. They're definitely playing more like a higher ranked team than that. And of course, Sydney Swans on top. Let's have a little bit of a look at some of the players' stats here, and we'll see who the leading possession getter is on the ground. And of course, Jai Simpkin there for the Kangaroos is leading with 10 disposals. He's had 5 kicks, 5 handballs, 1 mark, 1 clearance. Logan McDonald doing well for the Sydney Swans with 9 disposals, 7 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks. Wardle there going well with 8 and Papley with 8. Unfortunately missing that goal right on the siren, which would have given Sydney a little bit bigger lead going into the second term. Rowbottom there was 7, Roberts 7, Kircher 7. Let's just go down. We'll show you your favourite players there. Of course, Sydney, you can definitely tell they're missing their star, Isaac Heaney. at the moment, but they have to do without him today. Harry Shizzle there was 6 for North Melbourne. A little bit of a quiet opening quarter. He's got 3 kicks, 3 handballs. He's taken a mark with a couple of clearances. Let's keep going down the board just a little bit. If you're wanting to have a bit of a look at your players, see what the stats. This is the line, folks, if you're looking at the disposals of your player, of what they've had there. Nick Blakey having a bit of a quiet quarter for the Swans with only 4 touches. Luke McDonald, another quiet game there so far in that opening quarter. He needs to lift his game with just 3 touches. All handballs there for the Kangaroos. Brodie Grundy, not too bad. He needs to get into the game a little bit more. 3 disposals. He's had 3 kicks. He's had a mark, couple of tackles, so doing well. He's had 7 hit-outs as well. Not too bad for the ruckman big man there in Brodie Grundy. And there we go. As we can see, the subs there today for North Melbourne. Curtis Taylor there for the Kangaroos. And, of course, the sub for the Swans, Luke Parker. Eddie G, how you going, brother? What's happening? What's happening over there? Around the grounds, what do we got? Hawthorn, 2 goals, 3-15. Trail the Dockers there at quarter time, 3-2-20. Eddie G is a happy man. Eddie G is a happy man with the Dockers on top over there. Let's have a look at the goal scorers so far. We've got Toby Pink there. There's an interesting name, Toby Pink. He's kicked 2 goals there for the Kangaroos. Logan McDonald with 2 for the Swans. Papley has 1 and Nick Lakey has 1 also. Let's quickly run down to the team stats. Let's have a look. As I said, this is a pretty even game all the way around at the moment, folks. 102-93 in the disposal. There we go, 58-55. Handballs going the way of the Sydney Swans by only 6. Of course, inside 50s, they're pretty high at the moment. As I said, it's a pretty free-flowing game here, 17-12. Well on target to go past their season's average. Their disposal efficiency, North Melbourne, there we go, a little bit up on Sydney. Inside 50 disposal efficiency. Swans are doing a little bit better in that region. North Melbourne need to lift their game there. Free kicks, the umpires haven't been paying too much at all. 3-2. The hit-outs pretty even in all areas there. Centre clearances, again, doing all right. 3-4 North Melbourne's way. I think Sydney normally do a little bit better in that area, but as I said, Isaac Heaney, their gun midfielder, is out for today. Let's have a look at their possessions. Contested, pretty similar. Uncontested, pretty similar. Turnovers, they turned the ball over pretty similar, 16-18. Let's have a little bit of a look at the marks. So everything is pretty well in line as well. 27-22. Marks inside 50. Swans finding their target just a little bit better than North Melbourne, 5-2. And of course, 3 goals 4 to 3 goals 2. Swans leading by 2 points. Quick look at the tackles. Both tackling pretty good. They're bringing the pressure. As I said, they're still feeling the way. No one's had the momentum yet in this game. That could change in the second quarter. Bounces 2 to North Melbourne, the 1%ers. Sydney well on top, doing that extra 1%, what you need, which is very, very important. That is the team stats. We are back to the middle of the ground now, folks. So here we go. Let me get back to the summary. There we go. We've got the worm back on the board. There we are. Here we go, second quarter.
Things to go right. And just 9 tackles for the Sydney Swans in the opening quarter. That's their lowest for the season. They're the concern for North Melbourne, so they've gone with them early, but Sydney, they can put the foot down in second quarters when they start to get rolling.
They can, and they can win games in 15 minutes with just an onslaught of goals. High alert for the Kangas.
A low-pressure quarter for Sydney. Big focus for them coming into it. But they are in front just as Rowbottom gets a good purchase for that quick kick. Papley's looked lively all game. Can he get the bounce that he wants? He does! The old wrong at the SCG. He's kicked his second.
Well, he found the rough turn. We'll talk about that. He found the rough at that turn at right angles. So here's the high alert. So once again, just a scrap, a genuine 50-50 ball in the middle of the ground. And it's just a dump kick forward of the footy. Just allow your forwards to go to work. Papley, goal side. That's the crucial moment. Goal side of his opponent. And he's far too good a player to allow these opportunities to slip. So just for a moment, Dawson ball watching while Papley sneaks goal side of him.
A great match-up, isn't it? Callum Dawson on Tom Papley.
Yeah, especially when you've got Archer on a taller opponent, I think in Haywood as well. So I would have thought those two swapped over, but no, they've got their methods and reasons.
Well, Sherry didn't get his hand on the footy. We've almost seen that paid
Good dance.
as a free kick. It was Sipkin. He does have those fast feet. Stevens held up well. There is Archer. There's Tucker. We'll send the ball towards half forward. It's a good matchup. Sheasel and Florent, young stars of the competition, and now Florent gets involved on offence. Out to Gordon, patrolling that outer wing.
See how Grundy was first out of the two ruckmen to get back to that stoppage and just pick that ball up off the ground. Makes its way around the wing, and once again the Pap is in front.
Then it was on Callum Dawson, so that is a matchup you would think the North Melbourne coaches box would be discussing.
Well, you've also got Luke McDonald across the half-back line as well if they need to make a change. There is some like-for-like matchups with Papley. Taking his full 30. Deep breath.
Turns 28 years of age today, Tommy Papley. On his birthday, he's going to try and kick number 3. He gets it to fade back, and he looks like he's in one of those moods.
Tommy Papley, yeah, he's looking exceptionally dangerous. Now, Dawson's quite a tall lad too as well, isn't he? He's 196, Callum Dawson, and he must have some wheels about him for the coach to trust him. Let's get a look at it here. Yeah, that footy drew him to it. Dawson couldn't change the angle on the lead.
This is the ball movement that we've come to love for the Sydney Swans when it's in flow, and it forces Dawson to try and find Papley and also keep tracking the footy at the same time. When he turns his head, Papley's on the move. An uncontested mark inside forward 50 is the result.
Started to put together a really nice afternoon. Tom Papley, 10 disposals, 3 goals, 1. And Sydney have just put the foot down, so North Melbourne have to match motors with them here early in this second quarter. Sherry has tried to handball for a bit of territory, but Swans are able to win it out again. Rowbottom just throws it on the boot. Warner's now resting forward. Papley has the arm ping and spilled out to Warner, and all of a sudden they put the foot down and get 3 2 minutes. Although it's going to be touched.
So
Look at that.
even Warner saying it now, that's the change in football. So this is about defending the kick-in. So he's saying, no, it's touch, boys, it's touch. Come down, block it up. Don't go back to your position thinking it's a goal. Stop celebrating. Let's block the kick-in. Come down. I know it's touch. So it was a day where we always knew the forward would keep cheating his backside off. So no one got a goal. But this is all about defending the kick-in.
Fingertips of Bobby McKercher. You can clearly see everyone around the contest knew that it came off hands. There is the honest Chad Warner. So normally when a goal is paid, the umpires tell everyone to get into position for a centre bounce. But
Team will be overturning the last score.
It's pretty obvious this will be overturned.
I was just thinking of the conundrum there. What if the video didn't catch it? And it was awarded.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball deviate as it passes the North Melbourne defender. Decision on scoreboard.
I thought, looking at the replay, the player has exercised his honesty clause.
Yes. Should be a little bylaw that if they admit guilt or admit it's touch, we don't even review it.
Subsection clause A.
So Sydney should have their defensive kick-in all sorted out right now. Should be Nowhere clear for McKercher to kick this footy. They've had enough time.
The alarm bells are ringing now, aren't they? For
Yes.
North Melbourne. They've got to be on alert. We've just seen Sydney almost kick 3 goals in 2 minutes. This is where they could break games open.
Can't squeeze up too much from here because they'll get you out the back on a quick turnover.
McKercher just stepped off his mark. The umpire was quick to call play on, and then, well, that's put Tucker under all sorts of pressure. Sydney up in the ante here, but Nils had a little fumble. Might open the door for North Melbourne. Larky.
Still insists on a little chip pass, trying to retain the footy. And again.
And they'll just look to soak up a little bit of time. Get some territory here, North Melbourne. Shields will go to the players. The sun's in their eyes. You can see them all shielding the sun. And Florent got row bottom. He was given a lot of time to get that handball back to McCartan and now Mills. And his return game, a little bit of footy kicked towards McLean, who was worked under the footy illegally, said the umpire.
So right now the momentum's against the Kangas. We spoke about they're a good contest team. There's nothing wrong with a long down the line to a contest, just to take the sting out of the game for a short passage of play or a moment.
That ball's going to be turned over. A chance now for North Melbourne. So a mistake from the Swans opens the door. Ford just has to think his way through it. Larky's got 2 players inside 50, so they try and run and carry. Pink has Simpkin. He wants to cut back. He's got a good left foot, and then just blindly kicks it to no one. They made a meal of that, North Melbourne.
Yeah, he assumed Larky was going to take up residency at the top of the goal square, but he came forward to the kicking leg.
Swans dodge a bullet, and they'll look to go again. Well done, Wardlaw. He was able to read the cues, couldn't finish the work. Davies Uniac looking at the umpire for a free kick, and Wardlaw had a little fumble, but this time we'll get the free kick for high contact.
Haywood saw the free kick firstly and thought, I'll get value for money here, I'll put a second one high.
George Wardlaw coming up for disposal, number 9. His return game from that couple of weeks out with concussion. The kick was looking for Zerha, but chopped off by Gordon.
So once again, trying to be a little bit too perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with getting some field position. Lock it in your front half. Doesn't mean you always have to score like we saw in that previous inside 50.
Now another mistake for Sydney. Both teams making mistakes, trying to force their way through these team defences. Warner getting busy. He wanted to get the 1-2, but he slipped as he tried to get back onto it, and Tucker did well to take Amadi out of bounds without giving away a free kick. Really structured game, this one, isn't it? Not a lot of chaos and
There's almost a reluctance to kick long to force to a contest. Both teams trying to maintain possession.
Both teams are swimming inside the flags.
Grundy tried to grab it out of the ruck and quick kick. Simpkin does just do that, takes some territory, but Sydney, free McCartan to set up well. They're working in a little tight confined space here. Gordon again tries to squeeze a little kick, and again it's chopped off.
It's got some sideways, so it'll be interesting to see if they do under this opportunity try and go quick. And well, there's a view of what faces him. So 50, he's come off the mark. Well, that takes the pressure off him somewhat. They were well and truly hemmed in then.
Well, if he goes fast, he's got a one-on-one inside forward 50.
No,
Zerha to go slow.
Yep. It's like at the moment, the way the teams are getting their goals, and they're waiting for a mistake from the opposition. As Zerha drives it in deep, Larky read it best.
It dropped on him, it dipped.
And just a high kick in hope, and Larky, the natural forward, was able to read the flight better than anyone, Derb, and he'll go back for his second.
I must say, Cam Zerha is a confusing player to play in front of, I reckon, if he goes up into the middle of the ground. He tries to belt the cover off it, and sometimes you've got to be ready for that one. He doesn't hit right and doesn't come off cleanly and will drop sufficiently short on a kick like this, and that's a stab to the right.
That's a disappointing miss for Larky, just his 12th behind of the season. Really put that one straight in the book. That's their first score of the second quarter. And then another horrible kick from, this time, Blakey, one of the best field kicks in the competition.
He's only had the 4, that's his 5th possession. That's a good kick.
That's Zerha again. That's more textbook to Larky this time.
This is not great football from the Swans. I think the Kangas are hanging tough, and now they've levelled out this quarter after getting a couple kicked against them early. Just lack of game awareness from a couple of these Swans, particularly their half-backers. I mean, Nick Blakey rarely turns the footy over, let alone just kicks it straight back to the other team.
Now, here's a lovely set shot. We've got a sighter on the last one.
Very rarely will Larky miss 2 in a row, and he has. That's a real let-off. He is one of the best set shots in the competition. He's frustrated.
You don't normally see him run at an opponent like that, do you?
Learned that from Tom Cutley earlier this game.
It was like a game where you kind of take your chances. It's going to be hard to come by. Logan McDonald hasn't been sighted in this second quarter after having a dominant first term. McKercher, wheels on the left, will kick it in hope again to centre half forward. Pelican easily takes the mark, and now they try and get a bit of width on the footy here, the Swans.
See, Cam Turhouse's got to be ready for that. He can't assume that McKercher's going to kick it 75 to him out the other side. He's got to be ready to seize on that type of ball coming in.
Again here, we see the Swans, they can't get into the corridor. They're looking to go, but it's well blocked. That's a good kick.
This is the challenge for the Swans. Teams are now scouting how to beat them, and they are clogging up this corridor.
You're right, Nick Dalsano. You're calling for the handball there. But
Roberts forced the kick long, and there is Charlie Condon.
that's his first win in that type of mode. Shoulder to shoulder and intercept mark. Yeah, they're just a little slow to... I'm surprised young Braden didn't give off that handball as they scooted past him.
And McKercher's trying to be creative. He's defensive 50. It's risky, but got to McDonald.
And Durham, to your point, and Dow, as you mentioned, no handball. It feels conservative here at ground level that the Swans are just a bit unsure of their ball movement. They want to get to the corridor, but there's no space and they don't go, so they're struggling to find options.
Stevens will kick to a contest. Teagle with a good fly. Got the knee in the back, couldn't bring the mark down. There's Wardlaw attacking Melican and Simpkin. He's given away the free kick though.
It's a great point, Lynchy. You use the word conservative or safe. And I think when the Swans are at their best, they're brave with their ball movement. They take the game on. They get good options for the football.
Just like this, Dale. This is a bit of more movement. Papley, they get to the open side. That is the Swans we've seen all year.
I think if you just take it a half step, great run as well to get down from the opposite side. Kept his width, James Jordan there, fantastic. But if we're talking about quick ball movement for the Swans, Blakey only having the ball a handful of times, six times he's had it. That sort of is not indicative of his normal style of play. He normally is the one who breaks them open from the back up. We haven't seen any run and carry from him.
So Jordan steers that one home. The Swans have kicked 3 in the second quarter. And North Melbourne, they need to find a way to respond.
So this is what their brave ball movement looks like. That's a play on from a mark. An overlap handball. Now your forwards know exactly where the ball is going to go and you can play accordingly. That's a really simple way to move the football off the back of an Errol Goulding kick through the middle of the ground. They've only been inside forward 57 times this quarter. That's their third goal.
James Jordan tagging again this afternoon, it looks like. He didn't tag the game against St Kilda. As I said, he's a dangerous half-forward winger.
The tag only just came to life. You reckon it's gone again?
Teams have dropped it. North Melbourne dropped Will Phillips. They've got no tag going this afternoon either. It's favouring Sydney at the moment. They've had the better of this quarter. Warner is having some real impact. Florent spending a bit of time on Sheasel. That's a good kick to McInerney. And now they're starting to get some overlap run. Back to Warner, who pokes it into the path of Adams, but there's a free kick off the ball. And it's going to go to Joel Amati. So North Melbourne defence just starting to feel the pressure now of Sydney's ball movement. And Amati will get the chance to try and kick the fourth goal of the term for the Sydney Swans. And his first of the day.
get a look at the top of the screen. So, yeah, so Aiden Corr's got his back to play. I don't know if he really held him. It was one of those ones where he put the arms around him and stopped him from his forward lead. Oh,
He's missed two really gettable chances now.
see how savagely that ball swung, like an outswinger, right to left. That happens when you hit the ball with the slightly outside of your foot. You're not hitting the true dead set centre of your foot. You just got to start hitting them flush off the boot and then work out where they're going, and that becomes your consistency area.
So 1 goal 7 now the last 3 weeks for Joel Amati. After kicking 9 goals 1 against the Crows.
Good hands.
Yeah, Condon, what a year he's had. Top 3 in the competition for intercept marks and intercept possessions. In his first year as a defender. Here's Powell, another one that was terrific last week against the Gold Coast Suns. Keeps that one close to the boundary line.
Yeah, Joel Amati just, it's not a convincing ball drop, is it? It's just to the outside of the foot slightly. But look at that. 55% AFL rank for a key forward there. And in the last 3-4 games, the Swans have dropped that low.
Yeah. Once their punch in front of the big stick, Sydney. Kept them vulnerable as Amati lays a strong tackle.
That gets you in the game though, Dem. So you miss an opportunity in front of goals as Amati comes for a rest. Then you stick a big tackle. And well executed as well. Just turned Teakle to his side so he didn't give away a free kick.
Ruck work from McLean. Back down to Gordon. Oh, Campbell. It's a fancy footwork. Now we get it to Warner. And just casually caresses it down the line to Grundy. Who waits for McInerney to come back into play. And normally really good going inside 50. Justin McInerney, that's no exception. Logan McDonald, the man who had the hot hand in the first quarter.
So the set up to that, 7 or 8 seconds before, you see Logan McDonald going into the centre of the ground but running back to the goal square. He had a Swans teammate, couldn't see who it was straight up, but coming at the ball carrier. So you've got two totally different directional leads, and that makes uncertainty in the backman's mind. Who do I zone off to? Do I zone off, or do I just tag along?
Had those 9 disposals and 2 goals in the opening quarter. Logan McDonald, his first touch of the second terms of beauty. He's got 3, and he's been a big factor.
You'd love to think that the Swans players, all of them, leaders, and all the way down to the 22nd player on the field, identify what's working for them right now. And it's the mark play on, so going 17%. But this is what flow in their game creates forward of the football. That's a great pass. They get their way into the forward centre. The great identifying from Grundy. Let's keep the ball moving. And you can't defend that. So hard to get back shoulder, then come forward to impact from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, so Tommy Papley was the one who came forward in that lead, making that space behind him, drags his player with him. Logan McDonald running back inside 50 is able to drop in there.
First time he's kicked 3 goals in a game since round 7 against the Hawks. Logan McDonald having a really fine day. North Melbourne haven't been able to go with them in this second quarter. Chance here for Scott. Heard the voice of Davies Uniacke, who's
Got Maul there.
Maul, that's right, that was McKercher, and they're away and running again, the Swans. Warner, he wanted the 1-2 from Grundy. Tucker was aware of it, so now it's Jordan, who's going to kick to the advantage of Hayden McLean, who caught Condon ball watching.
He just lost any form of contact, Condon there. And then in the end, he had to look for where his opponent was, and the ball just dragged Hayden away to his left, Hayden's left, and it's a contested mark in the end.
He was doing the ruck work moments ago, Hayden McLean. Been super consistent this year, played every game. One of 15 Swans that has played every game this season. And he's missed. So that's the accuracy we've spoken about. Normally, another one is pretty reliable in front of goal.
Particularly from that position, Joey straight in front. There's been a couple.
Don't blame his junior coach.
Of course we will, Derm. I think you know him well.
That's it.
And he's out on the foot. going to put these North Melbourne defenders under pressure again. Swans really building. A lot of balls have been floating and falling short, and once again, it's the key forward, and McDonald, best to read it.
Sometimes the high floater works out, Joey. Once again, you'd be really disappointed if you're Clarko or the defensive unit here to allow an uncontested mark from such a slow play. But full credit to Logan McDonald. Head on a swivel, identifying that it's not a great drop punt, it's going to drop short.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Dale, there's so many Swans that can hurt you on the scoreboard. And another bad miss from Logan McDonald. So a couple of key forwards missing some golden opportunities. Lynch, what are the conditions doing down there? Is it blustery? Because a lot of balls seem to be floating.
Well, probably over the last 10 minutes, the wind conditions have got up. It is a bit blustery at the moment. Certainly in the first quarter, very still. But yeah, blustery conditions just over the last few minutes.
Goal kick accuracy becoming a factor as McKercher wants to try and take them on. He saw a couple of kangaroos out the back, but
Just fatigued on the kick, didn't he? Didn't get enough punch through. I don't mind that he took them on, though.
here's Fox. That might be a free kick downfield. That was undisciplined from Eddie Ford. The mark was taken anyway.
Yeah. Look, there's no malice in it, but the only thing that can happen, Eddie, is a free kick downfield. There's no other possibility. He's getting the kick away cleanly.
It's going to be Chatty Water. And we speak about the Swans' horsepower. Well, they've put the foot down this term. They've kicked 5. And the Kangaroos can't go with them.
So that was frustration from Eddie Ford. The delivery coming out to the far side wasn't ideal. The chase was great, Derm. The chase, the intent was there, but you're spot on. Nothing else good can come of this moment. But it down the field. It was clearly late. Nothing too brutal. You just simply can't do that. Now they've been inside 12 times this quarter. The Sydney Swans with 5 goals for. Maybe they do need to get a little bit closer to the goal to help their conversion rate. This is 27th goal of the season, Joey. Chad Water. Some of them being brilliant. That one a little bit simpler. But he's not just a token half forward that works up into the midfield. He's a legitimate forward that can kick goals.
It's fair to say that conservative ball movement's gone out the window. They've rolled the dice and they're starting to get going.
Yeah, well, Melbourne have been able to go with them. Speaking about Warnerdale, it's the consistency. 13 of his 16 games, he's had at least 20 goals and 20 touches and a goal. And he's already got the goal and he's on track for 20 again. And they are putting the foot down here, Sydney. Look at Batley, full of confidence outside of the boot. Dangerous ball. Comben.
I love that. That's well done. That's really well done.
Yeah, that's onus on the handball. I've got a feeling not too far in the future they'll call that.
You happy if they tighten up the deliberate rush behind rule and make it harder?
Keeps it alive.
Yeah. Feels like it will head that way eventually. The Kangaroos just hanging in here. Shees will kick the contest. If it stays in for Blakey, he might try and tuck it under the arm. Ball didn't quite. Darcy Tucker fumbles and that goes out of bounds. They've kicked the last 6 goals here, the Sydney Swans. That's the 11th time this year they've done that. Next best in the competition is 6. And we've seen it time and time again, Derm, when they put the foot down, they pile them on in a hurry.
Oh, they certainly do. They've just got so much potency in the midfield. They've got forwards who do the job, but their midfield is just devastating.
Adams handball to Gordon. Another ball inside 50. Haywood. Lunging attempt at Archer right there for Company. Warner bursts through again. And you speak about horsepower. Oh, he's the best. 2 in a couple of minutes for Chatty.
Change gear, accelerate away, and then finish. We heard from Lynchy just before, says become a little bit more blustery. That doesn't mean you're not allowed to kick a drop punt. This is what they do to you. Spoke about at the start of this quarter, Joey, their second quarters, how they can blow you out of the water. That acceleration. Very nice. Great finish under a little bit of pressure as well.
History's thrown up some great combinations of midfields in terms of multiple premiership winning teams. Now, these blokes aren't multiples yet. Hopefully they can add to, their tally. They might be, in recent times, the best goal-kicking midfield that I think I've seen.
Yeah.
And considering that Heaney's in the stands as well, for the midfield's ability to get the ball through the goals, that man comes back today as well, the captain, they just might be the best goal kickers.
Yeah, I think statistically that is the case, dude. They are on fire. Chad Warner lining up the SCG. He loves playing against North. Rolled the 2 Brownlow votes last year, the 3 Brownlow votes the time before that. And he gives it to Gordon, who just lays it into the path of Grundy, and this is becoming all too easy now.
That was
Looking
surgery.
for Cherry.
Yeah, that was surgery then. You give Errol Gordon 6 or 7 tiny steps to line up a kick, he won't miss. So watch Gordon, little steps, bang, 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 and just a delicate, sweet little hit. He's never missing.
That's the thing, Doom. These 3 mids, if they're not kicking goals, they set them up as well as any midfield combination.
That hit the highest point on the Opera House in red on his shirt there.
Just the 1 goal this season for Brodie Grundy.
It's on him.
From right in front, the Swans are piling them on at the SCG.
The chaos they cause in the front half to the bottom of the screen. Chad Warner once again playing as a legitimate forward, forcing someone to play on him honestly. And then Grundy's just pushed forward. He just goes out a shot here. Cherry trailing 5 to 10 metres away. That's another uncontested mark inside forward 50. So this quarter, Joe, they've been inside 15 times now to 4, the Sydney Swans. Of those 15, they've scored 12 times. That is world record pace.
7 goals, 5 this term. They have stamped themselves here, the Sydney Swans. A bit of a reality check for North Melbourne. They've been so good, but this is a different level. They might not be done with yet, the Swans. Davies Uniacke. There's a burst of speed coming the other way. Sheasel over to Curtis. Back to Sheasel. Can they finish the play? Larky's missed a couple already. Makes amends. Good play from the Kangaroos. As good as we've seen all afternoon. And they finally get their first for the term.
Well, they get to play with a bit of dare then. I mean, they've been blown out of the water, 7-goal quarter to the opposition, so this ball stays alive. Just awesomely well done by Davies Uniacke here. He just puts the afterburners on here, bang, gets through that tackle, looks to break that one, keeps it alive, little handball over the top, same again. And in the end, a sidestep. A little bit of showbiz.
Larky with his second. He missed a couple of regulation set shots earlier in the quarter. Maybe looking back now would have been crucial to stop the run. They've broken the run of 8 straight goals. They desperately needed it. Warner back on ball. Mills spending a lot of time out on the wing. His return game, he's been relatively quiet, just the 5 disposals, but he's enjoying what his team have produced. There's Cullen Dawson.
That's his best moment so far.
We'll look to reload in the final 2 minutes of this first half.
It's amazing how the dump kick on Fox is down the field, yet not in the contest, and that dump to the ground after the mark, not in the contest, isn't a 50. We've got some abnormalities in our rules. It's good to have anyway.
Free kick off the ball though, going the way of Tom McCartan.
Just a little bit of holding, trying to protect that space for Cherry to come through. Oh, not paying attention.
Another mistake from Sydney. Right. They're going to win the ball back. Wardlaw forced the turnover. Davies Uniacke has been the one that's tried to spark them. Tucks it into the arm, takes a bounce. Is able to recover. Again, they'll try and chain a handballs. Scott throws it on the boot. Waiting back as the goalkeeper was Roberts.
Just wouldn't come back, would it?
I do enjoy when LDU does get hands on football, tries to take the game on.
This is Warner's 11th disposal for the quarter to go with 2 goals, 1 and 8 score involvements.
something about those line breakers, isn't there? Like Dangerfield last night and LBU here this afternoon. They're just exciting to watch because they make the game have scores. They break the next line. They get over the zone that's set before them.
McKercher again. Will kick to a massive pack of players. Not much space for anyone, so Curtis tries to take some territory. How will the umpire see this one? Andrew throw in.
Kangas could find a way to get a goal from this last 57 seconds. I reckon after all the damage has been done early, they'll be happy with the last two.
And to get some momentum going into half-time. Opportunity inside 50. Malikan under pressure at Dr. Mills. And again, it's that man Warner. Just doing as he pleases.
Right now, he's a high half forward. He's coming off the half forward line. He's just having a breather out of the middle. So coming up to assist, even though he's trying to have a bit of a break.
Common worked Amati off the contest, but couldn't finish the work and take the mark. Dawson looked for the boundary line.
He's had a big quarter. Chad Warner kicked a couple of goals, 11 possessions.
He's been involved in 8 of the 12 scores in this second quarter. Alone, Chad Warner. Grundy taps it to himself. And another stoppage. So last opportunity here for the Swans. Grundy with the 10 disposals and a goal. He's won the battle against Tristan Sherry in this first half. He steps out, allows McDonald to do the ruck work. Oh, got to be careful, almost holding the ball. Here's Papley again. Pumps those little legs and then lets it fly from the pockets.
He's a specialist at that one, where he kicks a drop pump, not the check over that top spin type snap. He kicks the drop pump and it works back from left to right.
That was a quarter in which the Sydney Swans found their mojo. They turned a 2-point quarter-time lead into a 42 half-time lead off the back of 7 goals to 1. Chad Warner was the star of the show in the first half. Papley's kicked 3, Logan McDonald's kicked 3, and Chatty Warner, as we said, has got 17 disposals and 2 goals. John Lockmeyer will be happy with what he's seen by the Sydney Swans. They lead this one pretty comfortably. North Melbourne and Alistair Clarkson have got some thinking to do. Just the one goal in that turn to Nick Larkey. Some of the mids are a bit quieter. Colby McKercher, plenty of ball at half-back and taking the kick-ins with 19 disposals. Simpkin and Davies Uniac with 15 and 12 apiece. And it could be further if not for some inaccuracy by the Sydney Swans. 10 goals, 10. They've left a few on the table. Let's get down to Arselich.
Cal, looked like he got the game back on your terms in that second term.
Yeah, it was. We got our pressure right around the scramble, and then we're just really smart with the ball going forward and giving ourselves to set up the ground defensively, which was nice.
Is that the main points that Horse made at quarter time? He just looked like he just couldn't get the flow in the game.
Yeah, it'll come. North are a good side. Their pressure's been really good the last month, so we just grind our way into the game.
Yeah, and how's the legs going? Looked like you were a bit tired halfway through that second quarter.
Good, mate. No, I'm just managing the rotations. All good.
No worries. Great to see you back. Well done.
Callum Mills there just enjoying his first outing for season 2024. 7 disposals, but he'll be pleased with what his team has dished up because at half-time against North Melbourne, they led this one comfortably by 42 points.
All right, there we go, folks. That is halftime here at the SCG, and it's the Sydney Swans 10-70 leading the North Melbourne Kangaroos 4-4-28. Of course, a big quarter there by the Swans, kicking 7 goals, 6. Big quarter. And North Melbourne Kangaroos only putting on 1 goal, 2. So here at the moment, we've got a 42-point lead to the Sydney Swans that they will take in the third quarter. Of course, a couple of breakout quarters there by Pat and Morden. They were running ragged. And, of course, Sydney's class came through as a little bit of a chess game in that second quarter for just a little bit, but then Sydney's class certainly came to the fore and started to run in waves and left North Melbourne a little bit flat-footed there in a lot of their positions. All right, that being said, let's just have a look at some of the players' stats now, folks. And let's have a look who the top possession getter is on the ground at the moment. That's Colby McKercher for North Melbourne. He's playing a pretty good game there for the Kangaroos. He's had 19 disposals, 14 kicks, 5 handballs, 5 marks. And of course, Chad Warner had a ring-a-ding-ding second quarter there. And he was definitely the playmaker there for the Swans with 17 disposals. He's had 11 kicks, 6 handballs, 3 marks, 1 tackle, 1 clearance. Goulden there also is having a good game with 16, 12 kicks, 4 handballs, 3 marks, 3 clearances. Jai Sinkin there next best for the Kangaroos with 15, 9, 6, 2 marks and 2 clearances. Let's just run down the board. And of course, Papley there. Papley had a fantastic second quarter there. He's now up to 14 possessions. 12 kicks, doesn't like to handball too much, just with the 2. He's had 5 marks, of course, 1 tackle, 2 clearances. We'll get on to his goal scoring and his scoring at the moment. Just from 12 kicks, he's kicked 3 goals, 2. So his efficiency is fantastic. It's on the high end there at the moment for the Swans. And he certainly brings the crowd alight, folks. He's one of those passionate players and celebrates well after each game. Sniper, thanks for hanging in there, bro. Thanks for hanging in there. Just half time in the game. I think it's about 17 minutes until the start of the third quarter. We'll just go down a little bit. Rowbottom there for 13. Roberts 13 also. McInerney 13 for the Swans. Luke Davies 12 for the Kangaroos. Wardle needs to lift his game a little bit. He's only had 11 possessions for 8 kicks, 3 handballs. Same with Harry Sneasel, just the 11. Head on down a little bit more. Brodie Grundy, he started to come into his game nicely in the second half of that second quarter. He's now on 11 disposals, 4 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 marks, of course, 2 tackles, 16 hit-outs and 1 clearance. He does it all, the big man for the Sydney Swans, Brodie Grundy. Let's keep going down a little bit more there. We've got Zeri on 9, Florent on 9, Campbell 9, McDonald 8, McCartan 8. Keep going down there. Taylor Adams, bit of a quiet second quarter there, just on the 7 possessions, 2 kicks, 5 marks, but he's had 4 clearances, doing his job. As I said, the entire Sydney team lifted in that second quarter, and their class came out. Just go down for a little bit more. Check out your players. Charlie Coben, just with the 6 touches there for the Kangaroos. Nick Blakey's having a quiet game there for the Swans. He's only had the 6 disposals. He gives them a lot of run off the half back. He's just had the 4 kicks, 2 handballs, 3 marks, 1 tackle. I'm sure we'll see Nick Blakey a lot more as the game goes on in the second half here. As we go down there, and of course Dane Rampy's just had the 1 touch for the Sydney Swans. All right, let's head back up. We'll have a look at the goal scorers here, see how they are progressing in the game. So there we go. We've got the top goal scorers there, and we've got Papley, Tom Papley there, and Logan McDonald for the Sydney Swans, both with 3 goals. Of course, Papley came out with a burst in that second quarter. As I said, he set the crowd alight with those fast 2 to 3 goals in that quarter. As I said, just with the 14 disposals, 12 kicks, he's had 3 goals too. So he's doing fantastic. Of course, Sydney's forward man up there, Logan McDonald, just with the 9 kicks, he's had 3 goals too also. So kicking pretty accurately, the 2 Swans players there. Chad Warner had a fantastic second quarter. His game lifted to the highest level there in the second quarter with 17 disposals. He's kicked 2 goals, 1, doing his job there for the Sydney Swans. Goal scorer for the Kangaroos, Toby Pink there with 2 goals from just 5 kicks. And of course, Nick Larkey with 5 disposals. He's kicked 2 goals too. So he's His efficiency is pretty good there. Scoring 4 out of his 5 kicks there. James Jordan there for Sydney. He's got the 1 goal. And, of course, the big man, Ruckman, Brodie Grundy, he's got the 1 goal as well there. As I said, if you like the fantasy game, the fantasy points, let's just check out some of the scorers in the fantasy points here at halftime at the SCG. We've got Tom Papley there leading the way on 80 points. Logan McDonald, 71. Chad Warner, 68. Colby McKercher, 67. Grundy's on 62 points. That is this line here, folks. That is the AFL fantasy points. If you play the game there, we'll go down a little bit more. Goulden on 56. McInerney, 50. And I'll just go down a little bit more if you want to spot your player out. You'll be able to see what your players have scored. So we keep going down. Taylor Adams, 24 points. Paul Curtis just on the 16. As we get down, they get a little bit low. And, of course, Jackson Archer, he is the lowest at the moment, just with 2 points. Let's head over. We'll take that back up, and then we'll head over and have a little bit of a look at the team stats. See how they're going over there. So as you see, even though the score is 42 points, the difference, that's 7 goals here, folks. The disposals are not that great a difference, just 37 disposals going to the Swans, 200 to 163. 117 and 95. Kicks going to the Swans, leading in that. The handballs pretty similar. North Melbourne over-possessing the handball a little bit, which got them into trouble. They did make one good run through the centre of the ground with a handball in concession, and they scored that late goal, which brought them back, which was a well-needed goal, absolutely. The inside 50, Sydney well on top. They, as I said, they absolutely dominated after that. About the second half of that second quarter, 34 to 19. As you can see, the inside 50 averages for the Sydney Swans are only 55.9 per game, so they're well on top there. And, of course, North Melbourne are under their season average. They need to lift there if they want to get back in this game. Let's have a look at their disposal efficiency. Are they hitting the targets? They're about pretty level there and just about on target for their season average. Of course, the inside 50, Sydney Swans well on top and well on top of their season average. Of course, North Melbourne pretty much on song for their season average at 42.1%. Free kicks going Sydney's way, 9 to 3. 9 to 3. Let's have a look at the hit-outs now on the stoppages. Sydney Swans leading that 22 to 9. Brodie Grundy doing a great job there in the ruck. Clearances 19 to 3. Swans always good around the stoppages and getting the clearances done well. Centre clearances 8 to 7. So pretty well even there. No real advantage coming out of the centre clearances for either side here today. And the stoppage clearances 11 to 6. Swans. So you can see the Swans are in front in most of the possessions, etc. The stats here today, they got well on top. After a bit of a struggle, a bit of a chess match, a bit of an arm wrestle in that first quarter, the Sydney Swans showed their skill and their talent certainly shined through with some of their star players lifting in that second quarter. Contested possession, 67 to 57, both doing reasonably well in there. Uncontested possessions, 132 to 99. Swans leading that division as well. They're just getting their ball, they're hitting their targets a little bit easier. Finding the space around the grounds, which sets them up well to take it into their forward 50 for scoring opportunities. Turnovers, well, it's a reasonably high-scoring, high turnover game here today, 31 to 35. Match ball in possession, Swans leading that 44% to the Kangas 41 in the last 10 minutes, 36 to 25. Of course, the missing percentage is ball ups, out of bounds and all that type of thing. Let's have a look at the marks now. The Swans, 57-44. So the Swans are above average. As I said, they're finding the space. They're finding their targets well. And, of course, North Melbourne right on their season's average so far on 44 up until halftime. Marks inside 50. Well, the Swans, they're definitely finding their targets. They're finding their players out and about and they're getting the good leads in there. And the Swans are hitting them up, lace out, getting 11 marks. Already pretty much on their season average. They're on 11, which is danger time for North Melbourne. North Melbourne need to tighten up back in their defensive mode to stop those marks for Sydney inside their forward 50. Contested marks 2-4. North Melbourne taking the chocolates there. As I said, there's a score there. 10 goals, 10. Sydney to 4-4 North Melbourne. Defensive tackles 16-20. So they're both bringing a little bit of pressure. And of course, it's a little bit of a free-flowing game, as you can see. Normal average, Sydney would be on around 30, and both teams would be on around about 30 tackles defensively wise. So that shows you it's a bit of an open running game here. Tackles inside 50, 2 apiece, not much happening there. Said they both need to bring a little bit more pressure. North Melbourne need to definitely put a little bit more pressure on the Swans to stop the Swans' run if they want to get back in this game in the second half. Bounces 2-7 North Melbourne's way. 1%ers. Sydney Swans doing a little bit more in every aspect of this game. Interchanges made 35-37 out of this possible 75 allowed for each team. So there's still plenty of fresh legs left on the bench. Let me just whip this up. Now I just want to check around the grounds, see what's happening in the other games at the moment. So we have one more game on at present, and that is halftime. We're just getting air starting in the third quarter over there in Launceston between Hawthorn, the Hawks, Hawthorn, and the Fremantle Dockers. Over there, we've got Hawthorn leading the Fremantle Dockers 6-6-42. Hawthorn and the Dockers 5-5-35. So Hawthorn are in front by 7 points over there as they've just started the third quarter. Over there. All right, folks, let me take us back to the summary. So we got 4 minutes until this third quarter will recommence here. And then we'll get the game back underway. Sniper, thanks for coming in, bro. Thanks for hanging in there. I'm not sure how much you follow Australian rules football, but it's a pretty great game. It's a fast game. It's a hard game. Tell you what, you've got to be fit and tough to play the Aussie rules footy. There's no padding they wear. Yeah, when you get tackled, you get tackled hard, and you certainly got to be fit to play this game. Joanna, welcome in. Mega love shout out. Of course, Adrian's Sport and Karaoke channel. Yo, Sir Addy. How you going, young fella? Ryan Avery. How you going, mate? What's happening there? In the BG at the moment. Probably having a little bit of lunch or out for a walk somewhere. Avery XD. How you going? Welcome in. Good to see you again. Halfwit. How you going? Halfwit tipped the Kangaroos today. They were looking good there. At that point back in the game when the Kangaroos were on top, but Sydney's definitely got on top in the latter half of this match. Void RL, welcome in. Thanks for coming in earlier on. Appreciate that. Don't forget, folks, if you want to tip who you think's going to win today's game, you can put your vote in up at the top, up at the pin. Of course, so far we've had 23 votes. We've got 70% going for Sydney Swans, 30% going for the North Melbourne Kangaroos. And of course, this game will be back underway in about 2.5 minutes. As soon as the commentators get back, we will put us back to the commentators to take us away for the opening bounce of this third quarter. let's hope North Melbourne can get back in the game a little bit more, settle their gameplay down. I think Sydney brought just immense pressure in that third quarter. As I said, it left North Melbourne a little bit flat-footed, and the pressure was pretty high there for the Sydney Swans. Of course, North Melbourne, they did have their chances of kicking some goals there, a little bit wayward with those couple of behinds that they kicked. And of course, Sydney also, they had some very easy set shots that skew-whiffed off the side of the boot, which could have put them a lot further in front. 42 points here, the margin at half-time, where the Sydney Swans leading 10-10-70 to the North Melbourne Kangaroos 4-4-28. Anything can happen, folks, in football. 42 points is a decent margin, but it's a margin that the opposition can come back from. We'll soon find out when the third quarter starts here at the SCG here in Sydney against Sydney Swans and the North Melbourne Kangaroos. Let's hope for a bit of a revival, a bit of a comeback from North Melbourne to make this game a little bit more interesting. And we'll have a good game on this. The next game, after this game, folks, after this game finishes, we will do another game. And that next game that will be on the agenda will be an absolute cracker of a game. That is the Carlton Blues will take on the Western Bulldogs. That game coming straight up after the end of this game, of the Sydney North Melbourne game. So we'll cover that game as well. And then we'll have one more game after that, which could quite possibly be Melbourne that are taking on the Essendon Bombers here at the MCG. So that'll be another great game to stand by for. Listen to and watch. Should be fantastic. All right, folks. This quarter is about to get underway. Let's head back to the SCG for the third quarter.
22 points at half-time after a dominant second quarter of football here with Derek Burden and Nick Del Santo. Del, what you need to see from North Melbourne in this second half?
I want to see a response. I know they've had a really good 4 or 5 weeks. They conceded a lot of inside 50s and a lot of scores in that second quarter. I want to see how this young group responds in foreign territory against the best team in Australia.
Derb, 7 goals, 6 in that second quarter to the Sydney Swans. They found their mojo on offence.
They did. Drop the hammer, keep it going, bang a big score on here. If you're Sydney, you really want to put some real heat on here.
And their biggest score of the season, Sydney 19-17, 131. They kicked against Essendon back in round 2, so yet to kick 20 goals this year.
Fine Tommy Papley, I say.
He might be on track for a career afternoon, Tommy Papley. Let's see if North Melbourne have a response. They win this first centre clearance. Simpkin goes inside 50 and Malikan floating across in front.
Just a little floaty, that kick, isn't it? It got to him just with a bit of pressure at the end.
There's Warner, not often hurried when he gets a possession, but we saw Paul Curtis bearing down and kick towards the wing. Kircher left it for Dylan Stevens, playing against his former side.
He was going to go the wrong way then.
And now Sydney will turn the ball over. McInerney, Lloyd, chain of handballs, and they're away and running. Simpkin, good chase from behind. Force the turnover and then wins it back from his ruckman in Sherry, who has forward in space.
Keep it clean from it. They've just got to retain possession. No turnovers.
They're more aggressive on offence. A bit conservative in that first half. Simpkins had a stack of footy. That's better use too. Great delivery to the full-chested Larky.
It was slow, but it was meticulous.
Yeah.
It was all plotted and planned as they came back inside to Luke Davies-Uniacke just to control possession. And then they find Simpkin in that next pocket of space. Missed a couple of these in the second quarter early, Joey, where they would have got themselves in a good position. Missed them both at the other end of the ground.
And they were crucial misses, just to stymie the Sydney momentum. He's got 2 goals, 2 for the afternoon. Rarely does he miss 3 set shots in a row. That's a great start for the second half.
That's better. A little bit more fluid with the approach. And that's a much better start, obviously, than what we saw in the second quarter, where there was a couple piled on early from the Swans. But I like that style of play. If you want to be a team that is kick, mark, and control, you don't want to go too fast into your front half, this is what it looks like. This is the perfect scenario. Larky leading full-chested, delicate kick.
But you also see you've got Teakle and Toby Pink staying within 15 metres of the goal square, which keeps the zone spread from Sydney.
Just a quick one on Papley. He's kicked the most goals he's ever kicked in the SCG. As you go into the rooms at halftime, do you simply just double that number? Is he expecting 6 to walk off this ground? Is that the mindset?
I don't think Horse would have any say in this, and he wouldn't really care how many he gets. I reckon Tom would have designs on it.
6 is a career high for Tom Papley, so he's halfway there at the moment. And another set of clearance. Throw bottom is holding Davies Uniacke.
Same again.
I know they've been strong defensively, North Melbourne. Can they find a way to score an offence? That's not going to help. Davies Uniacke left it behind. Now it's a one-on-one for Amani and Core, who just needs to turn him inside out and go around the body. Costly mistake from the Kangaroos.
And they got their right way. If you can't find a handball, a simple handball to a running player...
I don't reckon it's too bad a handball. Watch. It's just, yeah, it's not great, but it's poor ball security. It's more concentrating on the pace of the run past than it is about the security of the ball. Yeah, it's not a great handball, no, but you've got to be able to take that. His head turns away from it. He's too good to do that, Luke.
Well, if we've learned anything this year, you can't make mistakes against this Sydney Swans side. They will make you pay at every opportunity.
And not there. You'd put that on the handballer totally, Nick?
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
Right.
LDU's still good enough to be able to grasp it, but that handball's got to be in front.
You appealed to the umpire there, LDU, for a hold. And you see both teams walk an extra 1 or 2 players up to this stop, so it'll be dense around this.
Grundy tries to clear the congestion, only gets towards half forward. Papley tapped into the path of Rowbottom. The hard-running Gordon will get to the ball first. He'll kick on the right, which is still a pretty nice right foot. And well done by Aidan Core again.
Coaching staff have also made a change, so Luke McDonald is now going to Papley. We saw it was Dawson in the first half.
Oh, he might stay on 3.
He's been pretty good as a lockdown defender this year, Luke McDonald. Sacrificed his role. He used to be a bit more of a roll-off and accumulator.
Happily cut through then.
Well, Stevens has to be careful. There's a free kick, high tackle. Swans players a bit bemused. Stevens coming up for disposal, number 12. A bit of ball early in the game last week against the Suns, and a good mark by Teakle. A couple of mid-season recruits out here for North Melbourne today. Teakle, Callan Dawson, another one from the 2022 mid-season draft. North have the numbers at this ball at ground level if they can keep it in. They work together. Wardlaw wants to look into the corridor. They're queuing up. Tucker sees McKercher. Probably tries to be creative. Colby McKercher, so confident he is with his own disposal, and just tries to pop that one into a little pocket of space. Arm chop. So we heard the free kick will go to Davies Uniacke.
There's going to be space into the pockets. We'll try and see if something unfolds coming straight at him. Into the pocket.
It does go into the pocket. It gets over the hands of McCartan, almost to Eddie Ford. Archer did well to win the ball back. Stevens tried to square it up, kick partially smothered. Now, Logan McDonald having one of his best games of the season for the running Florin. Again, a bit of a floating ball, but it might work out for Warner, who just toys with him, waits for some support. Wardlaw bearing down on Adams. Warner might get it back. He's already kicked 2. He just looks at the opposition, decides what he wants to do, and then misses. How is he when he gets the footy? He just takes a second to look around and decide, do I tuck it under the arm? Do I give it off?
Well, he can do the unconventional because he does have that burst of speed, but he could have just kicked a drop punt from 40 there. We thought, no, I'm going to try and run around one more person.
He's a West Australian, so I don't assume he's ever played rugby league or rugby union, but he's got a great, what they would call, drop step.
Yep.
Justin McInerney is limping from the ground for the Sydney Swans. Was in the incident on the half-back. I'm not sure what it is. A left leg issue, I think it is.
Keep an eye on these. Oh, that's interesting with no body around him. Hopefully nothing too serious. I was about to say he's had a wonderful season, underrated season, Justin McInerney for Sydney this year. As the ball spills to Gordon, one step from 50. He's been pinging them most of the year, but another miss.
As McInerney's played a lot of inside midfield again today. Luke Parker back into the team for his first chance. So he might be on the ground, the former captain, for his first run.
That Goulden shot at goal, if the goal umpire called for it, he'd have split the middle. He's such a good kick to a player.
We might see Luke Parker come into the action soon, the three-time best and fairest winner.
He's got the top off, the jumper's on, and I think they're just waiting for a confirmation from McInerney.
Parker to the top of the square, one-on-one contest. North Melbourne have the support at ground level. McKercher again to Tucker. We've got a 3v2. Sherry and Ford both went for the same footy. Scott, good crumbing contest. Pressure from Fox was good. And Rampy wraps up Pink.
Then Luke Parker realises it's a bit cold, so he's put the top back on. So that's hopefully good news.
Luke Parker back from that 6-week suspension he served from a bump in the VFL. He was initially not selected into the side. Wicks played as in the VFL today in the reserves. And Luke Parker to be the sub. North Melbourne easily diffused that long to a contest, and Rampy a couple of touches finds Jordan, and now Goulden, who just keeps running, and he gets better as the game goes. Oh, that was a bit ambitious from Grundy. Give the handball back to Goulden. And opposition all around him. And they're going to turn the ball over here, the Swans. Simpkin had picked wide. It's got Zerha working hard, and Davies Uniac short. Larky trying to get the work on McCartan, top of the goal square.
He's got the one-on-one deep if it get it to him.
He wants it to advantage to the fat side. Instead, he just kicks it to the contest, and Zerha. Strong contested mark. Blakey knows he should have got the fist into it. Hardly been sighted, Cam Zerha today. We'll have a shot.
Well, they've cancelled each other out, they. Nick Blakey has barely touched it as well. He's had no searching runs. He's taken very little ground. I think he had 61 metres gained at half-time, which is an absolute rarity game for him.
Zerha just the 6 disposals, but he's on the board. And North Melbourne get a couple in this third term.
It has been an interesting matchup. You've summarised it really well, Dirk, that neither of them have had the impact that we're sort of used to. So the kick wasn't probably ideal, thinking it was going to go to Larky, but it forced a one-on-one. Blakey extremely disappointed that he didn't get a fist through that football. But on the flip side, that's a great contest to mark off a couple of steps to Zerha. 1, 2, 3, up and launch.
Really poor technique by Nick Blakey to spoil it. When you saw that level, that ground level shot, Blakey rose higher. He's a taller man. He's got longer levers, and he jumped high. He jumped over Zerha, but he went around him and tried to round arm swat it.
Looks like Luke Parker is about to come into the game. So we haven't had an update from the Swans re-injury, but he's ready to come on.
Oh, keep rest of that one down there for us. Lynchy as the kick goes inside 50, and now McLean attacks it at speed.
They're three different players, aren't they? I mean, they're vastly different, these three key forwards that the Swans have. Joel Amati is a high-reaching forward with a little bit of agility at ground level. McDonald's got a little bit of clevers about him and will lead at the ball carrier, and Hayden McLean is your warrior. He's your workhorse who you'll put in second ruck, and he will just keep coming to the contest.
He plays an important role, Hayden McLean. He's kicked 17 goals for the year. He missed a sitter in that second quarter, and he makes amends now, and he's on the board.
There was a bit of movement in that, bit of right to left, and then straight down towards the end.
You talk about movement, he's nicknamed after the great Matthew Hay. He's Dosser.
That's what the big cheers for as Luke Parker makes his way back onto the SCG. Expect him to go right back into the middle where he does his best work. me about where and how that actually occurred, because it didn't look good at all.
So what they're saying at the moment, the Sydney Swans, it's a left knee sprain. So hopefully that's all. It did look horrendous that it just buckled under him, but he just walked to the bench with the boots off and got a great round of applause from the fans here.
Yeah, hopefully nothing too serious next year. As we said, being such an important player. And it now means Luke Parker straight into the action. Even his teammates were giving him high fives as he came onto the ground. And he's right in the thick of it. There he is on Wardlaw. Tries to lay a tackle. Stevens kick partially smothered.
Oh, looks like Grundy down.
And there is Parker again.
I think did he get one to the stomach? He's going to have to come over and contest the hit out. The umpires, you don't hold up play for him if he can't get there.
They generally do.
Oh, sorry, they do for that,
they do
yeah.
now.
I thought he was saying, do you want to take the tap out? We can hold it for you if you want to. The cleans come up.
Brody waves him away. Gets straight back into it. And McLean goes back to half forward straight away, gets involved. Fox trying to get on the end of the handball, but it's turned over. Sheasel has been relatively quiet today by his standards.
Good kick, under pressure. Good lead up by Cam Serha.
12 disposals for Sheasel. That was a good kick though. Pink provides a contest. On his own crumb. And now back to Zerha. Drive another ball inside 50 here. There's one-on-one contests everywhere. Florent wins out again. And the handball for Gordon made it difficult. Chance for Zerha. He's gone with the banana. Gave too much on it.
2 bananas in a row he's had.
Yeah. Starting to get involved in this game.
Yeah.
Quite first half. Like it's not quite.
Well, there's an opportunity for Tristan Cherry now because Grundy's beaten him today. He's worked harder into both end zones of the ground, away from the stoppage. So if he's a little bit sore now, there's a chance for Tristan Cherry to actually go, you know what, he's just come off it a bit. Let's try and run him a little bit harder now and work him. So he gets to the front spot there, Cherry.
There's Parker in his first possession. It's one we've seen 1,000 times, a contest. And a handball out, and it sets up Warner, who drew the man, gave it to Jordan. McLean's in a bit of space. He wants to look short. Instead, he goes long because he sees Lloyd it was drifting forward from the wing. Stevens sits on the footy. We'll get a ball up.
It's a strange selection, that one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
he had a really good lead coming directly at him. McLean, they didn't see it or just wanted a better option.
He went for
the long hanging in the air option wasn't the best one, Derm.
It was a 50-50 option as opposed to a certainty shorter.
Oh, Wardlaw's absolutely shaked that one.
He's almost missed his foot.
Just bounced in the field of play. Shakes his head, Wardlaw.
He does have an action that kicking action that will open up to that type of sneak kick. There's the captain on the bench. He might be feeling it a little bit first up.
Cullen Mills there, 8 disposals in his return. They'll just be pleased if they can get Mills and Parker through this game.
Yeah, Mills played majority on the wing today. John Longmire sitting on the bench, as Lynchy mentioned, for the first time this year. I think Dean Cox will be thrilled with that. For a couple of hours on a Saturday arvo.
So Cherry gets that way now. He's up against. He's got Grundy onto the bench now. So who's rucking against him now?
They'll have to
Hayden
clean that
McLean's
comes
come
up.
in. Yep.
2 goals apiece in this third quarter. Sheasel squeezes one out. Shields.
Oh, good throw.
And Lloyd got it back to himself. North Melbourne are up the ante here with their pressure. They had 13 players at half-time that hadn't laid a tackle, North Melbourne. But the Swans good enough to get that ball out of space to Parker. That's the round of applause. And Marty on a long lead. He's got options inside 50 if he wants to get it moving. He's
Warner's sneaking in out the back.
deciding to kick a high ball. Warner's lurking at ground level. He's going to get it eventually, Chatty Warner. Can he break through a couple of tackles? He tried, but he's going to get pinged.
You knew he was thinking to himself, I'm strong enough to stand up in this tackle and get the kick away. But when the second tackler came and then the third, that did him.
He's already got 22 and 2. Chad Warner. It's the 14th time in 17 games. He's had at least 20 and a goal.
They're incredible numbers, aren't they? You think about the modern midfielder that goes half forward, then probably comes back up into the midfield as an extra. Plays there as a genuine forward, but that ability to just to drift forward there as a front and centre.
He's kicked 2 goals 9 times this season in a game. It's an incredible number for a mid-forward.
It's a good tackle there by Luke McDonald.
Just ran out of room to go into his move.
Chad Warner might be the one that benefits from the Isaac Heaney suspension. Talking Brownlow medals and more votes. There is Isaac Heaney.
He knows he's on camera.
He was playing it cool. What a sensational season he's had, Isaac Heaney.
Oh, look at that.
Look at the kick from Gordon.
Bang.
Laser.
How would you like to lead up to that?
So the Kangaroos have only had 6 intercept marks today.
Yeah.
So the ability to take Combin and company out of those positions has been impressive today, particularly in that second quarter where their ball use was great. Joey, here's McDonald's moment.
He's had a couple of shots from this sort of range in recent weeks, Dale. He's been excellent this afternoon. 3 goals, 2 for his 12 disposals, and he's absolutely flushed it. He's got 4 for the day. His confidence hasn't been dented. Let's take a look at the Bunnings build-up, Dale. Talk us through it.
Well, we saw how it finished. It's with McDonald lacing one from about 50, but it comes from a stoppage. So you see the forwards bottom of the screen, they're all positioned in moments or passages of play to be able to lead full chested at the footy. And who I think is the best kick in the competition, Errol Goulden, ball in hand. Simply lead into that space and he will find you. Doesn't have to break stride. That's great connection with your forwards. Had a big day, Dirk. He's been in a lot of conversations about where he's at over the last couple of weeks with a couple of missed shots, but he's actually played some really solid football.
Now, if Errol Goulden just gets it in that situation another 200 times, that's 200 more shots at goal he gets. It's that good, that kick.
Just the 4th time in his career, he's kicked 4 goals or more. 5's his PB. He might be on track today, Logan McDonald. Here he is again, up the ground.
We're going to get Errol Goulden to have the ball 200 times.
200 times in the next couple of years, you'll bang on 200. You know, let's say 3 or 4 years. 200 inside 50s like that, swinging onto the left, kicking it into the channel. It's harder to get out of the way of those, Alistair Lynch. You dream of that sort of service.
Absolutely. I remember playing against your mob. Yeah, Pritchard and Platten putting it down your throat and big bungs. It was a daunting task at playing at fullback.
Melbourne with a chain of handballs, Enting Powell. It's just going to be a high ball. It's been tough for the small forwards. Yeah, it was Paul Curtis. Shavi's struggling to get into this game.
You just try and get a little inventive with some things and they don't work out. Tallest man on the scene there.
Let's see what confronts Tom McCartan. He's happy as a defender to kick the contest on McLean. He's crashed into Parker. And quickly gets to his feet, then the smother from Florent. And they're off to the races again. Here's Sydney. Happily. Warner's also slipped out goal side. There's the kick from Gordon. Uncharacteristically missed. His forward eye was still to advantage in the path. And
What they call that in golf, though, he missed to the professional side.
He still owes 200 from here. I'm not counting that one.
199, this one.
be careful here, North Melbourne. Sydney dominant from stoppage in this game. Plus 44. Right now it's the second best result in about 4 years. Sydney from stoppage. It's not normally their strength. It's been the Kangaroos' strength, but been completely outplayed today around the footy. Wardlaw just took his eye off it. Saw Mills. He's had his hammies rubbed and back into the action.
I watch with intrigue in the next couple of weeks when Heaney comes back in particular about how do they balance out this midfield? Who gets priority? How do they balance out time? Where are players most damaging?
Sydney defence been rock solid all day today. He's trying to play that one up there. See if he can get a 50-metre penalty. kick was partially smothered, but then Sitkins given away another free kick. This will be Errol Gordon's disposal, number 26. He's had 10 score involvements. Chad Warner's had 11. They turn the ball over North Melbourne. Here's Pink. Sees it open forward line. It's a one-on-one. Larky normally likes this situation. Crumbs his own footy. Not sure how he got it to Sheasel, but Zerha will dribble it through, and he'll kick his second for the quarter.
Did it the hard way. I really enjoyed that contest from Larky. Brought the ball to ground on the one-on-one and then had to follow up his own play. And as you mentioned, Joe, I'm not exactly sure as we have a close look at the Sheasel handball. Here it comes here. Oh, maybe. We'll pay it because he's so talented. Who are we to question him? This angle might give us a better look.
That's probably
that's a throw. So let's go back one disposal. Nevertheless, there's 6 points for him.
Well done. The camera work on that. Well done, boys. That was, yeah, that's brutal.
That was conclusive, dude, wasn't it? Absolutely conclusive. The goal stands. Zerha kicks a couple in this quarter. North Melbourne split the difference, 3 goals each in the third term. They haven't really been able to eat into the lead.
Grundy back out.
There's Parker getting some minutes in the centre bounce. Kicks a big ball inside 50. McDonald got hands to it. Mills did it really well. Here's Warner. There's the step. He sees the goals. His eyes light up, and he goes for home again. He's missed.
He does light up, doesn't he? He just drops that step and then he takes it on himself with that power. He's got off the deck.
2 goals, 3 now this afternoon for Chatty Warner. He's had a hell of a game. It could have been a massive afternoon. And well done from Mills.
In the hand. See, Condon's hasn't had the best of days. He hasn't been bad, but hasn't had the best of days. And that's a confidence thing where he takes that in his hands. He leaves a marty. No chance of getting that. But the umpires paid the free. Turned it out all right for him.
Plays on hands and knees.
And Lynchy, looks like North Melbourne made their sub.
Yeah, they have Shue out of the game, tactical sub, and Taylor in.
There is Curtis Taylor straight into the action. He was the sub last week in that win against Gold Coast. Came on during the fourth quarter, so he gets a bit of a chance earlier. There is Blakey. Set doing it quiet, just 11 disposals. They haven't really needed too much of his run.
Even that kick, he's just rested back onto his heel. Normally he kicks and at least gives 7 or 8 steps to see. He's just floating through the middle now.
Swans will look to just pick their way through this North Melbourne team defence at the moment. Hard run from Matty Roberts. Still trying to find some of his best form. And a great start to the year. The kick from Parker was the right option, just didn't quite execute it, but opens the door for North Melbourne through Davies Uniac. Dawson couldn't get his hands free. McKercher under pressure. Strong tackle from Campbell.
Good follow-up there from Campbell.
Just stopped him from being fully rotated into the ground.
Gordon just hacks that one off the ground, and as far as Comben. Hasn't really been as earlier. Sydney have just used it too well going inside 50.
They have, and then they've also competed better after quarter time about just bringing that ball to ground, allowing the smalls to go to work at ground level.
Now Blakey getting involved. A couple of intercept marks to the right. Larky's frustrated. Scoring's dried up here for North Melbourne. Warner again front square. This time gives it off to Gordon. Adams outside of the boot. Nice finish. Swans keep rolling.
Chad Warner is just so damaging forward to centre. He's lively. So here's the first passage of play from half back. There's Nick Blakey doing what he does best. Keep a close eye on Warner. That's a genuine front and centre, but on the move. So he's not stationary, can't get tackled. That creates the overlap. That's a creative finish from Adams in front of goal.
They're looking to pile on a big score today, the Sydney Swans. 10 times this year they've kicked 100 plus. They might get that up before three-quarter time.
Now, Luke Parker's come on in the third quarter. He's got the game high for third quarter, 4 tackles in this third term. He's only played 14 minutes, so he's got an appetite, you'd say. Number 1 pressure player on the ground in this third quarter.
Rowbottom this time, extended clearance. Combet had a little fumble, opens the door for McLean, and they bring up the ton. And there's still plenty left in him this afternoon.
Well, there's a healthy competition for spots. There's no doubt about that. Luke Parker missed a lot of football earlier this year because he couldn't get in the team. So he comes on and does his thing. Now they're just starting to get on top. Coming out the front of centre square bounce is always really challenging from a defensive perspective. And even around a flying random shoot, Nate McLean's able to finish off. That's their 16th inside 50 in this third quarter. 5 goals, 3 is the result. And you raised a really good point before about the different styles of forwards that the Swans have.
Yeah, well, he slugs it out, McLean. That's look at that, centre bounce, 4 goals to 26 points out of the centre bounce there. So, yeah, they've controlled that area. It comes out in different modes too, Lee. I'll wait after this one.
Now they're all getting in on the act. They might have more. Rowbottom kicks to the advantage of McLean. Another strong mark.
So there you go. Perfectly timed by Rowbottom. So when it comes to Warner, he breaks forward with power and tries to put it to advantage. When it goes to Goulden, he's surgical with his kicks. When it goes to Rowbottom, he just gives you a chance at it. He's not the world's best kick, but what he does is rush hat kick a lot. And as soon as you see the ball get into his hands, you tend to just fight for front position because you know it's probably going to drop short. That's one of his better kicks, put to advantage, but it's hardly piercing, it's hardly Goulden, it's hardly one of those beautiful caressing kicks. So you get 3 different modes of kick coming towards you.
He's already kicked 2, Hayden McLean. He's hooked that one badly.
That's not a good kick. Come on, Dawson.
Yeah, they're all spreading the love, aren't they? Let's speak about all these goal kickers. They've got 6 in the top 35 in the comp. They've all kicked them. Papley, he's got 3. McDonald's got 4. McLean's got a couple. Chad Warner's kicked 2, and Amati has just got the 1. It's only Will Hayward who hasn't got in on the act today.
Well, he's got Archer as his direct opponent. They've had a bit of niggle off the field.
Kircher, again, couldn't try and create anything from deep in defence.
And as you touched on, I mean, that forward 6 or 7, they're just so consistent. It's not just about kicking goals for them as well, but they've got so many different types up there that there's always options, and yeah, it's more than just on the scoreboard.
Got a handball from Luke McDonald to Tucker. That might come back in because Sydney are well set up here. If the ball can sit for Jordan, was able to break that Nurkic tackle pretty easily, and again Rowbottom just caresses it to a dangerous spot, and this time it's Parker.
So that, you called it, Lee, the first tackle he broke, the second tackler who got on the scene actually didn't want to apply it. That was just, so we watch this here. That's the aftermath of it. James Jordan, he broke the first tackle, the second tackler just slid past without really trying to lay it. So that's one that someone like Alistair will look at and say that's not up to my standards.
But for a milestone for Luke Parker, 200 career goals. Welcome back to the SCG and his teammates. Well, that tells the story.
That's as big a celebration of a goal as you can get. Outside of Buddy's thousands on this ground, you don't see much more emotion. Yeah, so that's too easy. You don't see much more emotion than that at the SCG for a goal kicker. That meant a bit.
He's a favourite son, Luke Parker. He's been sitting back watching this Sydney side all season, and he might have a big say come September.
They're eyeing off a 140 plus score now.
They've said 131. It's been their season high back in round 2. They've got a fair way to go to break the SCG record, Derb.
Oh.
236.
Huge.
I think they kicked 202 weeks in a row, didn't they?
Yeah,
that
they
Swans
did.
team?
The late 80s.
The 80s.
The Wiz.
They used to pile on scores.
Oh, the Wiz was there.
But this will be one of the biggest scores of the season, you feel. North Melbourne have just had no answers for the offensive juggernaut of this Sydney Swans side back at home at the SCG. They lost their first game of the year here against Fremantle a couple of weeks ago.
You mentioned that 202 weeks in a row. The great, one of our word colleagues, the great Gerald Healy, he was putting it down their throats.
Another dominant quarter by the Sydney Swans. Luke Parker got his first run of the season, and Sydney kicked another 6 goals to 3. They've already notched up 100, and they lead by 63 points at three-quarter time. Mills and Parker back, look what it means. And of course, there is still more footy today. Big game to come after this. The Western Bulldogs are taking on Carlton. Big game, bit of talk around Charlie Curto. But we can tell you, it looks like he's playing. And under the lid of Marvel, he might have a few goals that he wants to kick. Plenty of footy still to come. But here at the SCG at Sydney by 63 points.
All right, folks, so that is three-quarter time, and Sydney dominating this game totally. 16-14, 110 to the Kangaroos, 7-5, 47. The Kangaroos came out, didn't look too bad, kicking a couple of quick goals in that third quarter. But Sydney, after that, took control again and piled on 6 goals, 4 to North Melbourne's 3 goals, 1. All right, let's have a little bit of a look. We've got about 4 minutes until the final quarter. Let's just have a look at some of the stats here, some of the players' stats. So go and see who the leading possession getter is. Let me just reload that up. The match disposals, there we go. So Goulden for Sydney is leading the way with 28 possessions. He's having a cracker of a game. 20 kicks, 8 handballs, 4 marks, 1 tackle, 4 clearances. Chad Warner, he's having another blinder of a game with 25 touches, 16 kicks, 9 handballs. Colby McKercher for the Kangaroos with 23. Simkin with 22. Let's just quickly go down. Have a look at the stats here. The disposals are in this line, folks, against your player's name. Brody Grundy doing well, of course. Harry Sneasel with 17. He's up to 17. Still needs to do a bit more just to steady this ship and try and get something out of this final quarter for the Kangaroos. George Wardle, quiet game, 14 disposals. Logan McDonald, there up for Sydney, 13 touches. He's booted an extra goal in that quarter. Continue down. Taylor Adams, just with 11. And of course, we saw Luke Parker come back on the ground there for the Swans after a big layoff. He's finally back. He came in halfway through that final term of the third quarter, and he got 7. So he was electric as his normal self is. 7 disposals in a quarter, in half a quarter, I should say. 4 kicks, 3 handballs, 3 marks, 4 tackles, 3 clearances, and he's booted a goal. Absolutely brilliant. Let's just jump over and have a look at the goal scorers now. For those keeping track on the goal scorers, we've got Logan McDonald. He's the leading goal scorer for Sydney with 4 goals, 2 from 10 kicks. Tom Papley still on 3 goals, 2. Nick Larkey there for the Kangaroos. 3 goals, 2, doing a good job off his 6 kicks. And of course, Cameron Zuha, 2 goals, 1 off his 12 disposals. Chad Warner there, he's got a couple for the Swans. Toby Ping for the Kangas with a couple. Hayden McLean, he's got 2 for Sydney. And singles to Luke Parker, James Jordan, Brody Grundy, Joel Armory and Taylor Adams for the Sydney Swans. Just a quick look at the AFL fantasy points here. Who's leading the way now? All right, so it's still Chad Warner. He's up to 94 with Goulden there, equal on 94 on the fantasy points. Papley 85, McDonald 85, Grundy 83, Luke Davies on 82. There we go. Let me just run down this. These are your fantasy points for the folks out there in this line. Just have a little bit of a look as I scroll down. You might be able to see your player. If you play the fantasy game for the AFL, good luck to everyone. There are the points. Quick look at the team stats. The disposal, Sydney getting on top there. They're 54 ahead of North Melbourne. And they've had about 30 more kicks, but 20 more handballs. They nearly doubled the inside 50s to the Kangaroos. And of course, their efficiency has gone up, has the Sydney Swans inside 50. Free kicks 11 to 10. Pretty even there. Hit outs all pretty even. Centre clearances, Swans still in front there, 13 to 9. There's the contested possessions, pretty much the same. The uncontested, Sydney still well on top. Turnovers pretty level. We've got the marks. Sydney still well on top, 15 to 6, inside 50 marks. We've got the scoring. Quick look at the defensive tackles, all even on that count. The 1%ers, Sydney, well, they are well and truly on top. There we go. All right, let's get back here. We're just about underway in the final quarter. For those who have interest in the other game that's happening at the moment, it's 3 minutes into the final quarter, and it's Fremantle Dockers. They are leading Hawthorn 9-12-66 to the Hawks 9-8-62. They've just started in the final quarter. That's a close game over there. All right, here we go for the final quarter. Good luck, both teams.
Now the centre square bound, so the dominance around the contest.
Now the North Melbourne midfield, they've been so good for a number of weeks, just haven't been able to match it, so Clarkson's throwing the magnets around and put the big body Zerha into this centre bounce to start the fourth quarter. He wins himself a free kick. And he'll just drive it as deep as he can. It's good territory. Blakey started clanking it late in that third quarter. I'm disappointed to miss that one.
So, yeah, just blindly rolling onto your right foot and kicking it straight. I reckon you could even try and fan it on a 45 to the outside of the channel and give your forwards a little bit of width on it.
He's Sinkett trying to break free. Great tackle from Rampy. Strong work. And Parker squeezes one out to Fox, and now McDonald getting high up the ground. He can do so well, Logan McDonald. Got a great tank. Can work the wings. Got 7 marks to go with his 14 disposals. 4 goals too. Nice kick. Goes straight down the throat of Aiden Court. Just their 8th intercept mark, Dale.
Yeah, it's been a combination of keeping the ball off the Kangas and not allowing them to be able to in those contests. Kangas getting in a little bit of trouble to work their way out. But it has been a feature of the lack of intercept marks that the Kangas have had, particularly Combat, who's been really good in that area.
See, that kick has to hit the top. I mean, there's no pressure. You're a league footballer. He's 30 metres in space by himself. You have to give him a chance to get to that.
Grundy, he tried to slap it forward. Parker was trying to get on the end of it on the outside of that contest, so that's a throw from Sherry. Umpire didn't see it. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. Gordon, clever hands. And now the ball will go deep inside 50. It's a one-on-one, McDonald and Mills. And it's going to be a free kick. It's going to go the way of Callum Mills. McDonald thought it was just a genuine contest between a forward and a defender.
He won't say to the umpire, because you're not allowed to, but he keeps staring at the scoreboard, trying to get the umpire to look up at it.
Well, if Luke Parker on return got his first, it's now Callum Mills' turn. And it's only positive signs for the Swans today.
As they all get down to the forward line to say well done to the returning Callum Mills to skip up.
Held front position though, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, look, that's a 50-50. He's hooked on to McDonald. McDonald's arm goes over there first, and then knowing that situation, having done it a lot of times, he then claws onto McDonald's arm and makes sure it lingers where he put it. That's what the umpire sees.
That's the arm around McDonald on
Yep.
Mills. It doesn't matter if he locks it in there. It's
Yep.
the arm around.
Yep.
That's the action. Callum Mills enjoying being back out there today. He's got a few words to say to Luke McDonald.
No, and Luke, I reckon he'll get a
Great
few back in.
tap. That is the best ruck work of the game so far.
Beautiful off-handed at Warner. Couldn't make it work though. The Sydney Swans kick was smothered. Rampy been very good again today. So reliable now, the veteran. Again, every time he just waits. And that drop step you speak about there, that little drops the hammer when he needs to. Jordan is a leading targeting Mills, so he's now playing forward this fourth quarter. That's a beauty, Callum Mills, isn't it? He can play anywhere. He can play at half back.
And
if
I
they need.
really like the way that John Longmire and the coaching staff have reintroduced him into football again.
I don't think he wants to kill him with
That's
the
spot on.
workload right now. He's probably just taking a bit of a few extra expected Ks out of his legs.
And regardless of what he said to me at half time, he was sore, he was tight. He was stretching on the boundary line there in the first half.
That was a block behind the plate. That's why that was reversed.
So Teakle will drive it towards Larky. He tried a similar action to Callum Mills and lock up the arm. No free kick.
He's just giving the stare appeal.
And you mentioned Millsy's enjoying his return to senior football. Luke Parker, he's had the 8 disposals, as you said, about 15 minutes of game time. He's leading the way. He's got the most tackles on the ground for the Sydney Swans with 5.
5 already, Lynchy, as you said. Yeah. Got an appetite for it.
Oh, Rampy tried to give the fend off. No free kick.
And it's a bit of a message probably to the coach that I'm sick of playing in the 2s, so I want to stay here now I've got my spot back.
You've got to be careful. You don't want to play too well as the sub either. Could be a real weapon, as you said, back into this year in finals.
There's tackle number 6. But it gives them different avenues and different dynamics that you can go to at any particular time. So you've got your starting mids that have done the bulk of the work this year, have done it better than anybody. You've got someone like Parker and Mills that you can reintroduce and manipulate at the right time.
That's scary, isn't it? Teakle just trying to show a few little tricks, and the kick might have worked, although Taylor dropped an easy chest mark. And the Swans look to be off and running.
That was well done by Brent Teakle.
The Lizard, he put the head down, he wanted it. And he's got not a slow coach chasing him in Scott, but he still burns him off and then has enough composure to deliver. Beautiful play to Amati. Lloyd it was there, sore behind play. Now the options dry up for Joel Amati, so he'll put the mouth guard in the sock and maybe have a crack from outside 50.
Well, Lloyd did a brilliant job to delay that handball, to force the tacklers to come to him, to put Blakey into space.
You got to execute your moments though, don't you? And the fact that Taylor couldn't mark a chest mark, which was relatively simple, 15 metres out, and the ball goes to the length of the ground.
Well, it's been a bit of a dry spell there. It is Derm again on the outside of the boot. A kick for Amati, just not striking them well at the moment. Through for a rush behind. That goal was score. There's a horrible turnover from Luke McDonald.
So while the ball was in flight, he was already apologising. Not exactly sure even who his intended target was. It missed by that much.
Yeah,
You don't need to give this guy any more opportunities than he already gets.
Clarko will look at this, and they've made progress over the last month or so, but they've flatlined a bit today, North Melbourne, after early on in the second quarter.
Warner, he hasn't quite had the kicking boot on either. 2 goals, 3, and now 1 out on the full. Amazing stat line again. 28 disposals, 14 score involvements, 2 goals, 3. Sheasel gone back into defence. Blakey flies again. His hands to a couple in this fourth quarter. And Marty, good enough to get the handball free. Campbell. Papley tries to get it back to Fox. He's playing around with it a bit here, Sydney, so Fox understands that. Just tumbles it inside the forward 50 for McDonald, who had hands to it. Swans pressure is elite again, and now Papley has a few things to say. Let's take a look at Nick Blakey, who's taken 3 marks from the opposition kicks.
That's really well. He's crafted that so well. He just dropped it. He got the early jump and crafted the lean into the ball. Oh, that's a big takedown.
How's the umpire going to see this?
That's WWE stuff.
He's going to call that a block.
Yeah. So he's turned around and shepherded, but doesn't get back to the ball.
Well, I see it slightly different. I think he's trying to make body contact and unaware that Amani's trying to jump over him.
Yeah,
Not sure what else.
You can make body contact, and that's fine, but you've still got to be able to go back to the ball. Otherwise, you're shepherding him away from the drop of the ball with no intention to get it yourself.
And the drop punt hasn't been working for Joel Amati, so he goes around the body. And he's kicked his second, and they're edging ever so close to their season high score.
We'll have another look at this one, Derm.
Yep. So he moves into him without any intention to get to the drop of the ball. That's what the umpire sees. And yeah, Joel Amati's just tracking the ball and using natural athleticism to run and jump at the footy. I agree with that one. There's me others who disagree, because I think you sound like you're on the other
I see
side.
it's slightly different. I'm not sure what Sherry's supposed to do when he's trying to make body contact as you do in every ruck contest. He can't get back to the ball because he's being jumped on. As John has a chat to him. It's the beauty of the game. We see the same incident, but slightly different.
My reply to that would be, well, don't bump into him.
Don't get jumped on.
Joel Amati with his 34th goal of the season, still holding on to the goal-kicking lead at the moment, but he's got about 4 or 5 players bearing down, getting close to 30 goals themselves. So 131 was their season high score back in round 2 against Essendon here at the SCG. Bombers kicked 100 points themselves that day. Currently 76-point lead, which is also their highest winning margin this season, Sydney against the Hawks. Now Gordon hasn't kicked one today from 50. Across the face.
See, Robbie Fox just held his opponent out with a little bit of body work there. He's now turned into that mid-range, mid-sized pressure forward. How many reincarnations can one footballer have in his career? We've seen him as an on-ball, we've seen him as a small forward, we've seen him as a key backman when they were undermanned last year. He does any and everything for this team.
Yeah, game number 98 today, Robbie Fox will play his 100th against the Western Bulldogs round 20, Friday night, SCG. Started in 2017, but been rookied a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
He's just been such a wonderful role player.
Turned into a chameleon. He just blends wherever he has to, Derms.
And he does the job.
But doesn't that summarise Sydney Swans?
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, I'll do that for you. Whatever you need from me.
He's been able to forge a career. Robbie Fox, he was out of favour for a while.
All right, they're running close. The Sydney Swans blokes around the outside. That's a 50. Let that go.
Could be blowed 50 sometimes. Zurhar again, another contested mark. Had a better second half.
Yeah, quiet in the first half, but so too was his opponent. But you being the forward, you've got to get your hands on it.
Zurhar up to 15 disposals, 2 goals, 1. Another horrible shot for goal. I've seen a number of really poor goal-kicking attempts today.
It's been highly unusual, the goal kicking today, hasn't it? There's been as many no scores as I can recall this year.
So a lot of red around this ball up. Larky trying to create something himself, grabbed it out of there. It's going to be downfield. They heard the umpire's call. And they're off and running. They are streaming forward here, the Swans. Instead, McLean goes laterally. He wants to give it to the kicker. It's Gordon. He goes back to McLean. He might get it back here. He does. And they come to the open side. More space out this side of the ground. Hayward flew. Papley stayed down like a good small forward. Does he get the bounce again? This time's the flipper. It goes straight on. He's kicked 4. It's a PB for Papley at the SCG. He's had a nice afternoon.
He's had a delightful afternoon. 3 in the first half. He's not front and centre, but he thinks if this ball is going to hit the deck or could possibly go anywhere, why don't I go to the back edge where his opponent is as well? I think it's Dawson that doesn't get a hand on it either. It's just a good change of direction. Gordon once again.
That's what makes him so unique. He's non-conformist as a small forward. He's not always front and centre. Sometimes he's your run-past player. Sometimes he slides through the pack and takes a chest mark. He's just got many and varied ways of trying to get you done as a goal-kicking forward. He's unconventional. And he's got class. And he's irritating as well.
They all are. He's on track for almost 40 goals again this season. He's only kicked 40 plus just once in his career, but he's always kicked in the 30s, just so consistent. And there might be more opportunity. Still plenty of time, and the ball in their forward half again. Trying to apply the pressure this time is Dawson.
Great pressure.
Great pressure from Hayward. And Roberts takes intercept mark.
So they're allowing Gordon free range here, and he just keeps banging the ball inside 50. He's gone 13 times inside 50, Errol Gordon.
Hayward, again, continuing to play with some high intensity defensively. Hasn't been his afternoon on offence. Will Hayward just 6 touches with the Jackson Archer glove all over him.
Tom Papley. He's an irritant. He's a ripper.
They're all lurking at ground level. Here, Warner's there. Papley as well. There is Warner. This time just keeps it simple. Handball's back to Campbell. Off one step, doesn't strike that well enough. So Sydney, Brisbane Lions at the Gabba next week. Oh, there's a poor mistake from Sheezel, which you never see. And it's Luke Parker that cashes in. That's the highest score of the season for the Swans. And Parker is loving being back out there.
Well, if you want to play a short kicking style of football, a maintain possession style of football, you will make critical errors. And even that kick inside, this kick just in, that's barely gone the 15. Then once again, this kick here will barely go 15 inside your defensive 50, and when you get it wrong, you concede a goal. High risk. Luke Parker, welcome back to football.
Little bit of fatigue now in North Melbourne, or a fair bit of fatigue in their execution of the skills and decision making. When you get tired, you take the wrong option more often than not. And even a sidestep, a drop step of his own there was probably the order of the day. Get around that player, and then you hit the wings and honour the lead from somebody coming at you.
They've taken probably 3 steps forward in recent weeks, North Melbourne, but they've taken a step back today. Just been outclassed and outplayed by the premiership favourites. They were back to their best. Sheezel, better entry this time, but again, Sydney have all the answers. So as we said with the Swans, Brisbane at the Gabba, and they've got the Western Bulldogs back here at the SCG. Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, and Collingwood at home over the next month. They are sending an ominous warning to this. The kick was pinpoint to the lizard. Two bounces through the middle of the SCG. Skidding and couldn't finish.
But you know what? I'm not picking on, but that's a good lesson for Eddie Ford. You give that man on screen there, and he was responsible for him, and you give him 2 metres, his goal side, even though he's 110 metres away from his goals, he will make you pay. And he just took off, and Eddie Ford couldn't shut him down. Good lesson learned there, and let's hope he banks that.
Combin's kick comes straight back as Amadi plays outstretched hands.
And that's his prowess, is that high-reaching key forward.
Athleticism of Joel Amadi. Sydney happy just to build this one up patiently now.
So you see these blokes when we see them, we get out on the ground. Oh, Joel Amadi's just got this weight on this one.
Stevens. Forward.
Good win.
Goal. Yeah, won that one-on-one contest. Good win. There's Pink working hard towards goal. Sitkin as well, instead just having to drop it short.
Yeah, Joel Amadi, when you see him in up close and personal, he's got these massive thighs and a big rump, and you can see he's just explosive power to leap into the air short on.
David Judak short to Simpkin. He will go back and have a shot.
And the 24 disposals to this point, Jai Simpkin.
Started very well, just eased out of it. He's had a few of his mates. I was hoping he was going to get a 30 plus today.
Just the 2 disposals in this 4th quarter for Jai Simpkin. Haven't scored North Melbourne in this term. Been back in form in recent weeks. This one, will it fade back enough? It does late. And he just sneaks it home.
Well, once again, it was that plotting and tacking your way forward there. Still not prepared. It's a clear, distinct game style that they want to do from here. So Luke Davies-Uniacke still looking for a better option inside forward 50. Just a couple of Swans just gone to sleep. Just assuming that LDU is going to go for goal. It's a nice execution of the drop punt. Haven't seen a lot of that today. Even though the Swans have kicked 20 goals.
Boss strikes me as a coach who will bring that up in about 15 minutes' time in the aftermatch, the post-match meeting. You've let him off the hook there for that easy one. We had numbers in there, and you've allowed that dinky little short pass. He strikes me as that type of coach who'll just keep you on edge a little bit after a win like this.
Paul Curtis now having a stint on ball. Gets to the ruckman. Teagle, who drills the ball for Larky, just couldn't bring it down. And Powell playing deep forward. Davies-Uniacke, not his biggest afternoon. He's been in wonderful form the last 8 weeks. Zuha's kept trying. Reports today, though, that Zuha might be leaning towards staying at North Melbourne. There's a 5-year contract offer on the table. Reports that he might be leaving, but could be staying.
It's good news for North Melbourne supporters.
Seeing the direction of the club.
Well, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, around anything to go by. Maybe just exclude today. We're not the only team to travel up to Sydney and be taught a bit of a lesson. They won't be the last.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a few more in this era.
Comben will send this one into the pocket. This time Blakey did get the fist on it. Larky doing the crumbing.
So they have clean hands.
Yeah, went without it.
I think you're right regarding John Longmire, Dirk, and just that attention to detail for the full 2 hours. But one thing he will be really pleased about, they've only conceded 35 inside 50s for the game. So their ability to control field position, recover and come back to give stability at the defence at the right time has been exceptional. 35 inside 50s the Kangas have had.
You've got some decisions to make. My feeling was, and it's still with most coaches, 4 games to go. You want to approach finals with the team you're going to go into finals with, and your game method and your game style. So we see Parker back today. We see Mills back today. How does that look with 4 games to go in a few weeks' time?
Wardlaw is kicked partially smothered. Blakey straight into the corridor. There is Luke Parker. couldn't take the mark, but he's had a stack of footy since he's come onto the ground. 12 disposals.
#1 ranked player on the ground since he ran on after being subbed in, so outstanding.
6 tackles.
Where does he play, Lynchy, you think, when Isaac Heaney comes back next week? Do they still keep him in the midfield mix? Does he do this and play more forward? How do you see Luke Parker, his best spot in the 22?
Yeah, I think it's a hard one. He'll spend some time in the midfield. So they've got Taylor Adams coming off half forward into the midfield. It looks like Mills certainly started today on the wing. He'll spend a lot of time there. But they've got so many options, I reckon, big rotations through half forward, wing and midfield. But certainly Parker will spend time inside.
We may not get a true look at this, Joey, or a pure look at it until McInerney comes back as well. So fingers crossed that what we're hearing is the PCL. We played a lot more midfield time today, so there's a replacement instantly.
Quick handball on there.
Yeah, nothing inside 50 for Zerha, though, so he has to wait for some support. And in the end, straight down the throat of Dane Rampy. Continuing his solid form, Dane Rampy just holding up.
Well, you know what? His career is going to be elongated now because the Swans are very good, and we've talked about how much they've been able to stop inside 50s. He's not having to play key backman role now against much bigger opponents. He's getting to play on the third choice forward.
Just turned 34, Dane Rampy, but you wouldn't know. Look at him, still playing some good footy. There he is again, right on cue. And for Lloyd. Couldn't quite get the hands free. Sydney's pressure still high. Even though they're up by 80 odd points. They've been thrown out, and there is the desperation. Eventually they do win out Sydney. Grundy looking for some support. In the end, clever kick to Gordon.
That's pretty good.
And who didn't see Davies Uniacke sneaking up from behind, so he just blasts it off the ground. And McLean is all on his own.
Party time.
That is his 15th inside 50, and probably, no, he's had one beautifully clean one earlier, didn't he, to a leading McDonald, but that's his 15th inside 50.
And his 40th disposal of the game.
He got the 40.
And that's his best of the day.
The 4-0.
And it's his 15th score involvement as well.
That's a hell of a day out.
Yeah, can we get him 10 more for the Hawaii by the end of the game?
Who gets the 3 Brownlow votes, Dale? Chad Warner, 29 and 2 goals 3, or Errol's 40? I'll get back to you in a minute because Hayden McLean hasn't quite had the kicking boot on. Hooks that one as well. Brownlow night, round 18. 3 votes.
Chad Warner.
C.
Warner.
Gee, it's going to be tense now at Brownlow night.
We talk about taking votes for each other. It'll be very, very interesting to see how the umpires see these games.
Did you see how Heaney holds at the back end of the year?
It was an arm wrestle until the Swans broke it open 5 minutes into the second, and that was Warner, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I don't think he was really, that's pretty high, and he wasn't really a non-baller at that stage.
He only had one halfway through the first quarter.
Yeah, I think Warner's been the most damaging. Yeah.
It's kind of hard to deny a 40.
No, it is.
I mean, the great Greg Williams will tell you that.
It'll be 3 and 2. You know, that Brownlow night, just which way it goes. It's forward. Might get a free kick for high contact. He will over the shoulder against Braden Campbell.
Kind of stole his mark as well. That you got to learn those moments. He had first dibs on his own second grab here. Watch. One. There's the high over there. And he's going to get the second, but it's pinched by Curtis Taylor.
A quiet day for Eddie Ford. He's become a consistent player in this team. One of the improving Kangaroos. Can he finish? Another one that sneaks home.
Well done.
A couple of late goals for North Melbourne. So these two lads, well, they're lads to me. I'm a little bit older than them. Alistair Clarkson and Johnny Longmire. Both played at North Melbourne. Clarko moved on to Melbourne for a little while thereafter. Played 120-something games. And Johnny Longmire, 200 games, 511 goals. But unfortunately for Johnny,
a bloke called Carey came into the team and Pagan moved him up the other end. He's a good player.
Who would have thought when they were playing, running around the Kangaroos, they'd become two of the all-time great AFL coaches.
Yes, he was a good player, Johnny Longmire. He kicked, I think it was a 7 or an 8 in the wet in a state game for New South Wales against Victoria one night. It was best on ground, I thought.
It's going to be a free kick against Grundy for raising the knee. The advantage has been paid. Davis Uniac looking for an option. In the end, he just blasted it out of the pocket to nobody in particular.
It's been a pretty sound performance by the Sydney Swans. Look forward to next week when they've got the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba, Joey. Want to get a true test of where the Swans are at. Recent form has been okay without getting the results the last 2 weeks. Today's been pretty much perfect. Next week's going to be a fantastic challenge. A real barometer.
Yeah, massive game. Two of the flag favourites going at it. I'll get Isaac Heaney back. Looks like McInerney will be missing for I'm not sure how long, but some sort of extended time. Nothing more short to medium term. Good to see Matt Roberts get a fair bit of ball today, 22 disposals.
Kicks it well as well.
Yeah. Grundy taking the honours today against Sherry. Here is Chatty Warner, disposal number 30 for him. Sheasels have a lot of ball in this fourth quarter, playing a bit more behind the football. Just a few Kangaroos being well and truly off their best as Parker doesn't take possession, trying to tap it into the path of Florent, who's going to ship it for James Jordan. Errol does the unselfish thing to the top of the square, didn't quite bounce for Parker.
There was a bit of Harlem Globetrotters in that forward thrust then. Knock-ons into space and yeah, it's party time.
Warner and Rampy will just work it out together. The crowd have really enjoyed this one. The sun's been a factor for the afternoon too, the low winter sun. The free kick to go to Dawson. Incredibly, they only led by 2 points at quarter time. The Sydney Swans. From there, they piled on 7 goals to 1 in the second quarter, 6 goals to 3 in the third. And they've kicked 4 goals, 4, just 2 straight in this fourth term. It's been a comprehensive performance. And the Sydney Swans will walk off the SCG today with their biggest score of the season, their biggest win of the season. And they've just had 2 All-Australians slot back into the side while they haven't missed a beat.
All right, there we have it, folks. That is the game. That is full time here at the SCG. Big winner Sydney today, 2018-138, defeating North Melbourne 9-5-59. Of course, Sydney Swans, they put on 4 goals, 8 in that final term to North Melbourne's 2 straight goals. Another cracking game, but of course, Sydney showed their class as they top the league ladder and go a couple of games clear, 2 to 3 games clear. Let's have a quick look, folks, at the player stats before we finish off. And of course, Errol Goulden there, what a game. 41 touches he had, 41 possessions. Absolute ring-a-ding-ding of a game. He had 30 kicks, 11 handballs, 8 marks, 3 tackles, 5 clearances. Chad Warner, nearly best on ground with 31, 19, 12 handballs, 6 marks, 1 tackle, 3 clearances. Harry Sheasel came into the game in that last quarter with 29 touches. Simkin 26. Let's roll down the page. Check out your player, see how they performed, what stats they got there, how many disposals. Matty Roberts, 22 there for the Swans. Brodie Grundy ended up with 20 possessions, 35 hitouts. He is a running machine, Brodie Grundy, the ruckman there for Sydney. Ended up with a goal. Of course, Tom Papley, 19 possessions, another good game from the little forward there for Sydney with 15 kicks, 4 handballs, 5 marks, 2 tackles, 3 clearances. Let's keep on going down the board just a little bit. Luke McDonald, 15 for the Kangas. Aiden Core, 15. Logan McDonald there was 16 for the Sydney Swans. Just run down a little bit. While we're having a look at the stats, I wanted to say thanks for everyone for coming in. Tuning in today to this game here, Sydney Swans versus North Melbourne. I will be covering the next game coming up in just a few moments' time, which will be Carlton versus the Western Bulldogs. But before we do that, let's have a look at the goal scorers, the top goal scorers for today. And that was Tom Papley and Logan McDonald. They shared the honours with 4 goals apiece for the Sydney Swans. Nick Larkey, best goal scorer for the Kangaroos. He kicked 3. Zucker for the Kangas for 2. Chad Warner for the Swans had 2. Toby Pink had 2 for the Kangaroos. Luke Parker, well, what a comeback game that was. He played the last quarter and a half. He had 13 disposals. He had 7 kicks, 6 handballs, 3 marks, 6 tackles, 4 clearances, and snagged 2 goals. I can only imagine what would have happened if he played the full 4 quarters, folks. But it was a good return to football for Luke Parker, who came in as the sub and got his chance to get back onto the ground halfway through that 3rd quarter. Hayden McLean got 2. Joe Armady got 2 for the Swans. Jai Simkin, Callum Milnes, Jordan Brody Grundy, Eddie Ford, Taylor Adams rounded out the goals with all singles. Let's quickly head over to the AFL fantasy points. If you're playing that game, we got Errol Goulden on 151 points. A nice score there if you got him in your team. Brody Grundy, 114. Chad Warner, 112. Luke Davies, 106. And Tom Papley, 103. They're the top points getters for the fantasy points. That is down on the left. Have a look at that if you've got them. There we go. So just running down the scores there for the fantasy points, and there you have it. All right, folks, back to the summary. That is the game. That is the final result here. That is the final result here. And, of course, we had the poll who was going to win today's game. Of course, we had 25 votes in there. 72% picked the Sydney Swans and 28% picked North Melbourne. There we go. So congratulations to all those folks who follow the Sydney Swans in for a good year. And Jelena, who wanted the total score above 175 when it didn't look like it was going to get there. But it finally got there, 197 points. The results again, Sydney 2018 138, defeating North Melbourne 9-5 59 here at the MCG in Sydney. That is today's game, folks. And for anyone who was just wondering how the Hawks and the Fremantle Dockers got on, Hawthorn Hawks were victors by 13 points in that game over Fremantle. 87 Hawks, 74 to Fremantle. Fremantle. There we go. So I'll leave that up just for a moment, but I want to say thanks everyone for coming in. And we will see you on the next football coverage, which will be in around about 2 minutes, covering the Carlton Western Bulldogs game. All right, folks. Thanks very much. Till next time, ciao for now. And we'll see you in the next Footy Live.